year is 1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony. Until one day, a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Game Week 16 deadline stream. My transfers are locked in. I made the Timber and Lacroix out moves, so I now own Nkapie and Vandenberg. And I also now own Foden, which I'm like I said yesterday, I'm extremely bored by. Like 8.6 million. He's playing Palace away. He's probably going to blank this week. So 3 free transfers to get Foden before Palace away. It just feels rubbish, honestly. But I've used the Timber flag as an excuse. As it says in the ticker, which will slowly scroll by, most people should just not sell Timber. Like, he's a really good hold. I'm just taking a bet that Nkapie's minutes might be as good, if not slightly better over Christmas. And I'm hoping that Gabriel won't be back until January. That is it. I've used 3 transfers. I'm not particularly happy about it, but I do have confidence in my ability to be somewhat patient. I mean, I didn't rush in to get Foden the last 2 weeks, and so I'm quite hopeful that I will roll in Game Week 17, which means I'll have 4 by Game Week 18, and that is fine. And in Game Week 18, I could even potentially roll again, but I will probably bring in an Everton defender. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I didn't want to sell Saka next week. I didn't want to sell Cunha. The easiest way for me to get Foden was to sell Van Dijk or Timber. And Nkapie was a 5.4 million Arsenal defender that should... I'm hoping that he plays the next 4 games, basically. And then we'll see from there. Because ultimately, this is my thinking, and this will be like famous last words. But in theory, Nkapie should be nailed. Because of the Mosquera injury, Nkapie should be nailed until Mosquera's back. Now, they could play Lewis Skelly left back. They could play Calafiori left centre back. But actually, if you look at Lewis Skelly's minutes, which I only noticed last night, he's not played more than 45 minutes in any game so far. So I think Nkapie will be nailed until Gabriel's back. And as soon as Gabriel's back, I'm going to want him anyway. So I just need to find the money to go from Nkapie back to Gabriel. So Timber's still a really good pick. Most of you should not sell Timber. I decided to do it. How was Salt Hill this morning? It was freezing, at least at the start of the walk. Warmed up afterwards. Did about 6 kilometers. So it was decent, though. The pictures I got were so good. And what's even cooler about those pictures is literally just open my phone, click, point, shoot, and they just come out like that. It's amazing I'm going to sound like an old man, but it's amazing what technology is like these days. Minte and Semenyo to Bruno and Dewsbury Hall. I mean, I don't hate it because you're bringing in Bruno, but Semenyo is quite good next week, and he's not bad this week either, honestly. So it's okay, I would say. Priced out from the Vandenberg move by 0.1. Do you think Dalot is a decent alternative? I might look at Dalot around game week 19, I think, whenever Man United play Wolves, but I wouldn't be rushing in to go there right now. I mean, his minutes are probably going to be pretty good from game week 17 onwards because Mazraoui's going to go to African Cup of Nations. So presumably it'll be Dalot right wing back and Dorgu left wing back, although who knows what Amorim might end up doing. I think Dalot's okay-ish, but Man United defence is terrible. I would not expect many, clean sheets. Would you make changes to your free hit draft? To be honest, I'm not on free hit this week, so I've not thought about it since I came up with that draft. So maybe. I mean, if I was on free hit, probably, because I'd have been thinking about it a lot more. Yeah, I mean, the draft looks fine, like on a quick view. I mean, like I said, you don't have to go with double Chelsea. I wouldn't go for Timber now. I'd be tempted to risk Ben White. I'd be tempted to go like White and Nkapie over Lewis Skelly and Timber, to be honest. But yeah, the rest of it probably looks okay. I mean, if you want to play it mega safe, don't go for Mbeumo, but he should play, I think. It's quite mad that the game is like 2 days away and we don't know if Mbeumo is going to be available for game week 16, but presumably he will be. Thoughts on Henderson, Munoz, Gakpo, Minte, and Strand Larsen out? I mean, I already like this. Like you're selling, I mean, Strand Larsen's just been rubbish. Minte's Liverpool. Minte's still not a bad hold, by the way. Gakpo and Munoz are injured. For Kelleher, White, I wouldn't buy Ben White. Ben White is so short term. I think I would just go in Nkapie. Eze captain, I mean, it's fine, but Eze is super short term move as well. I mean, Eze, like Saka, could just get subbed off early this week. The difference is Eze just might not play next week. Like, might not start. Wilson is okay, yeah, and Thiago's good. Prefer Eze over Semenyo next week. I'd much rather have Semenyo next 2 weeks than Eze, to be honest. Just for the guaranteed minutes. Play Senesi or Mukiele. Probably Mukiele, I think, just because he's at home. Yeah, that's probably what I would do. Your dog is lovely. Thank you. Do you know any further news for Mbeumo on Monday? No, we're not going to get any. Are you part of the cut? Okay, I'm not even going to get into that rubbish. Mbeumo to Foden versus Mbeumo to Saka, or keep Mbeumo? I mean, if you can do Mbeumo to Saka, that seems quite nice. And if it's only costing you like 1 or 2 transfers, you could always shift to Foden next week. Like at this point, right, you're in a similar position to me. You've already missed most of the Foden price rises. He's now 8.7 million. I'd much rather have Saka this week for captaincy, I think. You could always get, like, buying Foden next week because of fixtures probably makes more sense than buying him right now, to be honest. Like, you'll start to realise as we get through this stream, like, I'm not particularly happy about these transfers. But at the same time, I also think they're kind of okay. Like, at no point have I massively regretted them yet. I might do when Timber gets a 17-pointer later. I'm going to have to watch that match too. Minte, I make it sound like a chore. I'm going to have to watch football. What a nightmare. Minte, Grealish, Timber to Dewsbury Hall, Bruno Fernandes, Chalobah. Yeah, I don't know if Chalobah's the player I would buy, but he's okay. I mean, if you've got 0.1 more, you could go in Nkapie. Yeah, I kind of like them, I think. I like Grealish is not great. Pretty sure Arteta said in the press conference start of the week that Gabriel is back. I don't think he did, and he wasn't back in the Champions League. Price changes are a killer. I mean, there was something like 36 or 39 price changes last night. Absolutely insane. I personally, I feel like FPL should have changed the algorithm because of the 5 free transfers, but I guess we're all in the same boat. Timber is injured. I play football with a guy that knows the strength and conditioning coach, and he said he was injured. Well, I mean, that's great. I've had people tell me, or like I've already seen comments, saying that he's fine, so he's probably fine. Sold Haaland after his triple captain blank in 13. Okay. Have had Foden captain since, now top 50k. Nice. Haaland back or risk captain Yorkresh. I mean, that's very high risk. He probably will start, but he might not. So that feels incredibly risky. Like, can you not just captain Foden again? Or Bruno or Saka, someone like that, if you've got them? I mean, I guess if you've got an Arsenal player you're confident they start, then they're not a terrible captain this week. Sold Van Dijk before the Munoz news. Got Timber, Chow, Mukiele, Keane, and Munoz. Replacement for Munoz long term. I mean, Van Dijk. Genuinely, Van Dijk. Look, I talked about defenders for about 8 or 10 minutes on the video yesterday. If you want to go and watch that before the deadline. It depends which weeks you need them for. Like, if you want someone to bring in and play every single game week, you should probably just go and buy Van Dijk or an Arsenal defender. Anderson's quite good this week and next week. I forgot to talk about Anderson on the video yesterday, and that's primarily because I already own him, which is really bad. I don't do that often, but sometimes you do just forget that people don't own all the same players as you. But like, Vandenberg's okay this week, but you wouldn't want to play him too many weeks afterwards. You've got Van Heck, but you wouldn't want him this week, but next week is fine. 19, 20 are fine. Which weeks do you need a player it for? How much money do you want to spend? Like, I know you've already got Timber, so maybe you don't want in Capio, you can't get him. I mean, what's wrong with Van Dijk? Minte to Cunha or Roll? I think Cunha's better this week and probably better for the next like 5 or 6, but he is more money. So, again, I can't tell you whether to buy him or Roll. Like, would I rather have Cunha or Minte? I mean, because it's Liverpool away and Arsenal away next 3, I'd probably rather have Cunha. Then he comes into Wolves, Leeds, Burnley. But will the extra money affect your future moves? Delay free hit past this game week. Current team is template. If you don't need a free hit, yeah, you can delay it. Chalobah or James Chalobah. Do you think it's stupid to buy Timber now instead of Nketiah? I wouldn't say stupid, but I think it's... Like, you've got to assess these things differently depending on whether you own or not. So if someone's got Timber, like, they can be absolutely adamant he'll start, and they can say, I'm definitely keeping him, and that's perfectly reasonable. To buy him, though, I think that's a little bit trickier. Here's the other thing that I use to justify my Nketiah purchase. Arsenal play on the 27th of December, then they play Tuesday. Now, it is Villa, so presumably Arteta will go as full strength as he can for that game. But it was a midweek game week where they benched Timber before for Ben White against Brentford. Now, Brentford is not as difficult a game as Villa. So I do think Timber will play this. But my hope is that Gabriel won't be back until 2026, so like January. And that Nketiah plays all 4 games and Timber might get rotated in this one. That's my hope. I don't necessarily... Like, I think Timber will play that week, but I also thought he would play in game week 14. So my hope is that the centre-back will always play. So anyway, I would probably buy Nketiah. That's a long way to say it. Also need to start either Anderson or Vandenberg next 2 rounds. Who do I buy? Probably Anderson. Calafiori to Timber or down to Nketiah. Again, just spoke about which one to buy out of those. On free hit, will Chalobah, Cucurella and Enzo all play for Chelsea? Presumably, yes. I don't see why not. Gordon to Semenyo, game week 16-17. You for under 4.6 million defender, 18-20 plus. Vandenberg, Van Heck maybe? Oh, no, not 18. Oh, Keane, yeah. Keane. Although he's not under 4.6. If you need someone under 4.6, it's quite tricky to have someone that long term, to be honest. I'm not sure there is someone that you'd want to play. Like, Vandenberg is good this week. It's Bournemouth at home. It's Sunderland at home in 21. Everton away in 20 is not terrible. I mean, Vandenberg's not terrible for those weeks, I guess. There probably isn't a perfect 4.5 million or below defender that's going to cover you all those weeks. If it can be 4.6, then I'd get Keane. Do I play Gay and Richards or play one of them and play Stack? Leeds have got Brentford away. I'd probably play Stack over one of them, I think. I guess over Richards. Who do I bench? Raul Jimenez, Semenyo or Wilson? Probably Wilson. Start 2. Anderson, Xhaka, Guiu, Bruno Guimaraes and Anderson. Fairly straightforward, I think. Will Maatsen and Watkins start? Watkins presumably... Did Watkins start midweek? Did Watkins start in Europe? I don't know. Let me see. I I think he did, didn't he? No, he didn't. So yeah, presumably Watkins will start. Well, it's not impossible that he doesn't, but presumably he will. And Luca Dean started, so presumably Maatsen will start in the league. I've not really been tracking Villa. Jeez, why are we looking at Maatsen and Watkins? Free hit, is it maybe? Yeah, my guess would be Watkins and Maatsen will start, but I'm not like fully clued up on Villa rotation right now. Play Mukiele or Maatsen. Well, if you've got Maatsen, you probably play him, I'd say. Is Anderson to Wilson worth a burn? I would keep Anderson. Wilson's not bad the next 3. I don't know if it's worth moving from Anderson, to be honest. Spazoji, 37 months. I'm on free hit. Do you think Eze is a good alternative for Saka? I mean, honestly, if you're on free hit, I don't think you can justify going without Saka, if I'm honest. I guess Eze's the next best option, yeah. With Eze beside Thiago and Hahn, I can afford Ekitike. There's no way I would drop Saka to afford Ekitike. And look, as someone pointed out to me the other day, nothing is ever guaranteed in FPL. Saka could well blank this week. He could get subbed on 65 minutes with a 3-pointer because it seems unlikely that Arsenal would concede. There's no... You cannot free hit and not have Saka, in my opinion. That's crazy. Like, he's part of the reason to free hit, right? Because you don't have to worry him outside of that, so you got more money to spend. Like, by the way, I think Ekitike is pretty good, but I wouldn't want to drop Saka for him, essentially. Munoz stacked to Vandenberg and Rice or Anderson and Szoboszlai. I would go Anderson and Szoboszlai, I think. Fulham defence just a little bit stronger than Brentford, would be my opinion. And Szoboszlai penalties, maybe. Although Salah will probably get some minutes, I reckon, this week. Not from the start, though. Thoughts on the Wirtz punt? 3 out of 4 home games, safe minutes. Are the minutes safe? He didn't start in the Champions League midweek. And I'm pretty sure Arne Slot has said that they need to manage him. Now, if you're free hit 17, I really don't mind that punt. Because you are going to get Brighton, Wolves, Leeds. But I wouldn't say his minutes are completely safe. Like, again, game week 19 is midweek. I have looked at the Wirtz punt, by the way, for 18-19, but I'm pretty sure I won't end up there. On free hit, best midfielder, 7.3 or below. Already have Dango. How much is Eze? Is Eze over that price? But you probably want double defence, don't you? And he's also more expensive. Best mid, Harry Wilson, 7.3 or below. Enzo Fernandez, but it does feel a little bit boring. Szoboszlai, actually, for penalties. Yeah, if you've already got Dango, I'd go Szoboszlai or Harry Wilson, I think. Yeah, Mason Mount, I probably wouldn't go there. Is Rice worth the risk if I'm going to the game? I think Rice will start. But he is a little bit of a risk. If you're going to the thing is, what if you go to the game and he doesn't start? Does that make it worse or better? I guess you're at the game, so it probably makes it better because you get to watch the game anyway. Maybe. I have Raya, Senesi to Nkapie to double up or get O'Reilly. I'd probably get Nkapie. Here's the funny thing about Arsenal clean sheet, right? You know Rob TFPL that we talk about with his clean sheet odds and stuff like that? Earlier in the week, Arsenal were 58% to get a clean sheet. They're still 58%, and that's with Saliba a doubt, Gabriel's out, Mosquera's out, Calafiori suspended, Timber slight doubt, although bookies probably have the information that he's fine. And they're still 58%, like it's mental. But saying that, I do think O'Reilly's quite nice from next week. So if you want to save yourself a transfer, or you just don't think you'll be able to go without him next week, just get him in now. Saka not looking promising. Why is he not looking promising? He's playing Wolves at home. I don't know. Again, he could blank. He's not essential, let me put it that way. Do I free hit this week and lose a transfer or wait for 18 to 19? Well, you're going to lose a transfer whatever week you use it, right? And like when we say lose a transfer, you just don't gain one. So if you free hit this week, you'll still have 5 free transfers next week. So I wouldn't worry about that. Like if you do it in 18-19, same situation. Do you need a free hit? If not, save it. If you had to, start Minte or Dewsbury Hall this week. Minte. Don't have enough to do Minte to Foden, but can do Cunha to Foden. Yeah, look. If Cunha to Foden is your only way to get Foden, you should get Foden. If Cunha to Foden is your only way to get Foden, you should sell Cunha. If you're not happy with any other route, you should sell Cunha. Should you do it this week? I think that's debatable. I don't think it's completely crazy to say that Cunha could outscore Foden this week. And I know no one will agree with that because Foden's got 6 returns in the last 3. Cunha's got 1 assist and it was lucky, I get that. But it wasn't that long ago, nobody was talking about Foden. So given that Cunha's at home, I think you could make an argument that he's slightly better this week. But again, you've missed the price riser with Foden now. He's 8.7, but he probably will go up again early next week. Because if people have dodged him this week, they're not going to keep dodging him for West Ham at home. So, yeah, Cunha to Foden is fine. Just for me, I wasn't willing to sell Cunha, so I had to find another way. As I said on quite a few videos last week, and I will continue to say next week, there are many different ways to play the game over the next few weeks based on your team setup, your transfers, etc. Like, you know, loads of us have sold Minte. He's still a good hold. I've only sold him to get Foden. Was Foden essential? No. Do I need Cunha? No, but I've got him. I don't want to sell him. People are going for Szoboszlai. People are buying Saka for captaincy. There's a lot of people dodging Saka. There's people looking at getting Semenyo next week. I will probably have to dodge him. There's a lot of different ways to play it. So, yeah. I didn't want to sell Cunha, but if that was genuinely my only way to get Foden, I would have done it. Minte to Szoboszlai or Eze. Like, Eze arguably is better this week, but Szoboszlai is a better long-term pick. He is on 4 yellow cards, though. So before buying someone like Szoboszlai, just have a think about if he gets the yellow card in this week and misses 17, how bad is that for my team? If he gets the yellow card against Spurs away in 17 and misses Wolves at home, how bad is that for my team? Why have you sold Timber? To get Foden, basically. Got 7 million, who to replace? I mean, you could just keep him. Otherwise, Van Dijk, Nketiah, O'Reilly are probably the top options. Thoughts on Villa players on free hit? They're fine because they're playing West Ham, but I'm pretty sure if I was free hitting this week, I'd have none. Basically. Like, Watkins is quite expensive. I'd rather take a punt on Ekitike than Watkins. No Haaland on free hit. Best defense, money, no option. No Haaland. I mean, probably 2 Arsenal defenders and like maybe a Chelsea, like Anderson from Fulham, Cucurella from Chelsea, Chalobah from Chelsea. I don't know if I would go O'Reilly this week. I'd probably dodge him. Maybe Van Dijk. When is the best time to triple captain? This week on Saka or Haaland? Okay, so basically the long and the short of it is, in my opinion, Haaland is probably better next week. But because of the differential, like Saka, bearing in mind he's got Wolves at home, arguably the best fixture you can get right now, he has had, let me just find it here. He has had 500,000 transfers in this week, which sounds like quite a lot, but there are 5 players with more. Dewsbury Hall, 600k. Harry Wilson, 650k. Bruno Guimaraes, 670. Fernandes, 861. And Foden, 1.5 million. Absolutely ridiculous. And I know I'm saying that as someone that's contributed to those transfers in. So Saka's somewhat of a differential still. He's not going to be like, 20% effective ownership. It'll still be quite high, but nowhere near what Haaland will be next week. So I'd be quite tempted to take the differential on Saka, but the safe choice that will probably score the most points is Haaland next week. Start Esteve or Gay. Esteve. Nketiah for Timber. Timber is my only Arsenal defender. Again, most people should probably keep Timber unless you really need the money for something. If Watkins and Voltemada are the same price, who are you taking for the long run with Vissa coming back and Aston Villa so good now? I mean, from a fixture perspective, probably Newcastle. So Voltemada. FPL Shelby, 22 months. Double Arsenal defence or double Arsenal attack on free hit. I think I would go double defence. So I think there's quite a few other nice attackers. But honestly, and I know this is going to sound like fence sitting, both can probably work. So whichever way you want. The problem with double Arsenal attack is picking the second attacker and getting the minutes right. But because the thing is, like, Nketiah is not super high owned. Lewis Skelly's definitely not super high owned, and Ben White's quite low owned. So it's not like you're buying Timber and Gabriel on free hit and everyone owns them. You're going for Arsenal defenders that not many people own. So I'm pretty confident. Again, I've not looked at free hit since I came up with a draft on Wednesday, but I'm pretty confident I would go double Arsenal defense. Who do I bench for Welbeck? Van Dijk, Chow, Timber, Bruno Fernandes, Rice, Foden, Anderson, Minte, Haaland, and Thiago. I mean, arguably none of them. I would probably bench. I'd probably bench Chow. Start O'Reilly or Vandenberg. I think, look, there's an argument to be made that Vandenberg is better because he's at home and it's Leeds. But honestly, I'm pretty sure if I was in that position, I would just play O'Reilly. Much more fun from an attacking point of view. Should start. Start 1, Minte, Dewsbury Hall or Lacroix. Probably Minte. Thiago or Haaland as captain. Haaland. I've got 4 free transfers, nothing in the bank. Should I sell Mateta for Bowen or Ekitike? Got Thiago. Then should I use another transfer to do Timber? Again, most people don't need to sell Timber unless you need the money. Mateta for... I mean, Ekitike, I don't hate it. I'm still not completely convinced by the minutes because of Isak, etc. But, I mean, Bowen, I think it's... I don't mind Bowen over Christmas because the minutes are guaranteed. Villa at home. Look, I don't know now. I think because of the fixtures, I'd take a punt on Ekitike over Bowen. But it is a punt. That's got to be said. Yeah, there's so many questions about Timber. Yes, I think Timber will start. Yes, I sold him anyway. Yes, I will probably regret it. But we'll see what happens. Honestly, as long as I don't get absolutely smashed by my transfers this week, i.e. Timber gets a 10-pointer in Cappier blanks, or Minte gets a 10-pointer and Foden blanks, and that. As long as I don't get smashed by my transfers and I can roll this week, I'll be happy. But I don't know. I feel like I've got to get through this week without too much damage, and then I'll be okay about it. I don't even know why I started talking about my transfers then. I went off on a tangent from something else, but there we go. Oh, it was about Timber, right? Chow, Minte to Rodon, Rice. I used 4 free transfers last week and brought Chow, Bruno Guimaraes, Foden and Krupi. Bench boost in 17. I mean, Richards is okay in 17 though, right? Leads away. I suspect he'll get benched in the European game. So that sounds okay, right? Unless I'm missing something. I mean, is Richards the best pick in 17? Maybe not. Van Heck's probably better against Sunderland at home. But if I've already got Richards, I'm probably just playing him. Bench boost to Bravka, Estev, Voltemada and De Kuyper. Brighton away to Liverpool. De Kuyper's minutes could be under threat now that Mitoma's back as well. I mean, if Voltemada's genuinely on your bench, which I do find hard to believe, but if he is, then probably yes. Is Timber to Nkapie to fund Casemiro to Szoboszlai worth 2 free transfers? That'd be 4 transfers this week. Otherwise, Minte first sub in case Timber's out. You're going to hate this. I think both are viable. Timber will probably play anyway, and he's great against Wolves at home. But Szoboszlai is much better than Casemiro. So I'd be tempted to make the move. Ekitike or Dango as last choice on free hit. Isak is a doubt, so Ekitike's minutes could be really good. Dango's got leads, though. Dango's a massive differential this week. Although his price might have gone up last night, which is hilarious considering... well, I mean, I to be fair, I was looking at bringing him in at one point, so I can't actually laugh at it. I'm going to say Ekitike. Lewis, Skelly and Sanchez or Anderson and Ray are free hit. I'd probably go Sanchez and an Arsenal defender. I do prefer Ben White to Lewis Skelly, though. The only slight doubt with Ben White is he's played a lot of minutes recently. So let's say Timber starts centre-back. Could Arteta make a change early in the second half where Timber goes and plays right-back, Ben White comes off, and then Norgard goes to centre-back or something? It's possible, right? But I still think I prefer Ben White over Lewis Skelly. Start Rodon or Gay. Probably, I don't know, Gay probably, because he's at home, even though it's Man City. That's my gut feeling, I think. In Burmo to Bruno this week or next. Again, I've answered this like a few times this week. Either can work. You've missed the price changes now already. If you've got 5 transfers and nothing to do, I would definitely make it this week rather than burn. I don't know. I'd rather have Bruno if that helps, but like it's fine to delay it till next week. It's almost a guaranteed transfer though, right? So it doesn't really matter if you do it this week or next. Play Timber or sell Timber to Nkapie. Probably play him. I wouldn't go Lewis Skelly without free hit. Yeah, if you've only got 1 free transfer left, you probably just play Timber. Brighton have decent gaps till December. How risky is Welbeck short term? I've seen some Brighton people even say they're not completely convinced he starts this week against Liverpool. He's already been benched once. We got another midweek over Christmas. I would not bother buying Welbeck now. If you've got him, then obviously you can risk it, but I would not buy him. With funds from Salah and a lack of differentials due to 5 free transfers, thinking Raul Jimenez and Welbeck is or Welbeck is third forward. I would definitely go Raul Jimenez. I have Gabriel Jesus in my draft team. Thoughts on him? Probably won't play that much, but I guess you can keep him and see what happens. On free hit, Martinez goalkeeper and Timber definitely out. I wouldn't risk Martinez. I think Martinez is going to be assessed, but I wouldn't risk him. I wouldn't go for Timber either. Not on free hit. Anderson or Cash, probably Anderson. Saka triple captain or just hold out for Haaland. Yeah, I've already answered this. I think I don't really have any other way to say it. I think Haaland's probably better next week, but Saka's much more of a differential this week. So I'd be tempted to use on Saka. They're both good. I own Timber and I've used 3 free transfers. Take the risk or switch for Nkapie. Probably just keep him. Unless you need, my general view is unless you're desperate for the money, just keep Timber. It's absolutely the right call for most people. Which one to field of Burn, O'Reilly or Livramento? Probably O'Reilly. Eze or Haaland or Bruno Fernandes or Rice or Foden for captain. Probably Haaland, then Bruno. 1 midfielder to buy, 7.6. I have Saka, Minte, Enzo, Foden. Szoboszlai, probably. Start 2 of Minte, Voltemada and Semenyo. I would bench Minte out of those. Busy stream stream today. Chat, will Mateta play? He should do. I think Glasner said it looks good at the moment. Now he might train and then not feel good, but yeah, Vandenberg and Semenyo instead of Van Dijk and Enzo. Yeah, perfectly reasonable. Timber, Minte, Njai, Mateta. Timber, Minte, Njai, Mateta to Nkapie, Foden, Fernandes, Raul Jimenez. I mean, yeah, that sounds quite nice. FPL gave us all these transfers, and boy, are we willing to use them. I've used 3. People are using 4. Like there was someone the other day that said they'd use all 5, and they still had Munoz and Timber left. Again, Timber's probably fine, but still funny the yellow flags. Can I get your thoughts on this bench boost? All transfers used. Where's the bench? Okay, but where's the bench though? That's your whole team. Let me see. Let me try and work. Okay, so Dubravka, Van Dijk, Van der Ven, Anderson. That's Fulham Anderson, I guess. Rodon. So Rodon, Brentford away. Dubravka, Fulham at home. Van der Ven, Brentford at home, I guess. Oh, no, sorry. Van der Ven is Forest away. And then I guess Anderson, Forest is your other bench option. I mean, that sounds okay. I can't imagine you're going to have a much better bench in the future. So unless you are, I would just get it used. You've only got a few more weeks to use it anyway, right? Member for 8 months, Gorabai, thank you. Do Munoz to Nkapie and have 3 Arsenal defence, or do Enzo to Rice? I would. I'm not that bothered about Rice, honestly. And I'm a bit scared for Mbermo, so thinking of do. Yeah, if you can do Mbermo, actually, do you know what? Someone asked me about Mbermo for Bruno earlier. If you can do it, I would just do it because there are some doubts whether Mbermo will play on Monday. I am like 99% confident that Mbermo will play, but there is some doubt there. Do Munoz to Nkapie and have 3 Arsenal defence? I mean, you could do Munoz to someone else and not have 3 Arsenal defence. Like, it's fine to not have 3 Arsenal. Like, Rice is fine, I guess. I just can't get that excited. I know how well he's done this season. I just can't get that excited about Declan Rice. But he's fine. You could just deal with Munoz next week instead if you wanted to. But honestly, it feels better to deal with Munoz and play Enzo against Everton, though, right? I just, if you want to go 3 Arsenal, but the thing is, if you go 3 Arsenal defence, who do you have? Timber and Nkapie and Raya, I guess. I don't know. I'd be tempted to move Menas to someone else. I don't know. I really don't know. I think I'd be much more keen to move Menas on than Enzo. Put it that way. So yeah, I guess if you want to go 3 Arsenal defence, go for it. Foden, Marino, or Bruno for captain Bruno. Favourite Arsenal and Chelsea defender on free hit. I'm gonna go with Ben White, even though I think if you want to go safe, just buy Nketiah. But my favourite Arsenal punt pick, which feels right to do on free hit, is Ben White. And Chelsea defender. Did Reece James start midweek? I think he did, right? That is the... Oh, no, that is Atalanta. Yeah, you can't risk Reece James. I'd say Chalobah or Cucurella. Honestly, I'd probably go Chalobah. Where did I get up to? Should I be starting Anderson for Forest over O'Reilly? Home to Spurs? Probably, yes. Triple captain Saka this week or Bruno 19. Saka this week. Saka triple captain this week or Haaland next week. Saka for the differential. Haaland for the probably the most points. Munoz, Grealish to Nketiah and Rice and hope Mbeumo plays, or Munoz, Grealish, Minte and Mbeumo to Vandenberg, Saka, Wilson, Rice and captain Saka. I quite like the get Saka option. I quite like the get Saka option. But, I mean, both are fine. I don't know, actually. If you haven't got Bruno yet, then Munoz, Grealish to Nketiah and Rice and then doing Burma to Bruno next week sounds quite nice, and it's less transfers. I would probably want to have Saka for captaincy. Got Van Dijk, Anderson, Timber, Goodmanson, Munoz to who? Another Arsenal defender, Nketiah, O'Reilly, or just whatever cheap defender you need, depending on which week you need them. Again, there's tons of options. Vandenberg this week, Van Heck next week, Keane from game week 18, Anderson this week from Fulham. Best goalkeeper in free hit. I mean, probably Leno, Sanchez, Raya, one of those three, probably. Also, I have in Burma on free hit. Who should I replace him with? Cunha, Harry Wilson, or another option? I'd probably keep him. I think he'll play. But I think I'd rather have Cunha than Harry Wilson. Or you could look at Szoboszlai maybe. Rate the free hit. Leno, White, Cucurella, Anderson, Saka, Eze, Szoboszlai, Bruno, Dango. Yeah, Dango's also really good on free hit if you don't have him. Thiago, Haaland, play Szoboszlai or Raul Jimenez. Ooh. I'm gonna say Raul Jimenez, but it's quite close. Also, double Fulham defence or 1-1 Brentford. I go all in for the double up. Really didn't want to burn 5 transfers, but had 3 red flags and 2 yellows. Do these moves feel worth 5 free transfers? Munoz, Calafiori, Mbeumo. Yeah, I like this already. Gakpo, Voltamada to Nketiah, O'Reilly, Bruno Fernandes, Saka, Guiu. Yes. Oh, everyone's going to have the same team soon, aren't they? That's what 5 free transfers has done. Honestly, I really think the 5 AFCON transfers was a bad move. Now, as always, I'm not going to moan about it for too long. I don't really care. FPL can do what they want. I'll just play the game they give us. But my preference would have been to not have 5 free transfers. It's just absolutely rubbish, in my opinion. Who the captain? Eze or Haaland? Haaland. Okay. I did miss some questions here. Let me go back up. Is Timber out? Not as far as we know. He's a doubt, but he'll probably be fine. Who is more essential? Wood, Salah, Murphy? Jacob Murphy for sure. Bench 1, Van Dijk, O'Reilly, Timber, Bruno Guimaraes, Dewsbury Hall. Fairly straightforward that as well, by the way. I think, in my opinion. Reece James, Munoz, Timber, Mukiele, Senesi. What do I do? I mean, Munoz has probably got to go, right? Timber's probably fine. Senesi's Reece, yeah, I would probably... I don't like Reece James long term. I would sell Reece James and Munoz if you got the spare transfers. I actually didn't miss that many questions. Last choice, Palmer or Foden on free hit? Risk, reward. So, Palmer's a weird one because Maresca said that he was available, but then he said he got some weird feeling. I think he will start. I think it's always easy to say this when you're not actually having to free hit. I would like to think if that was my choice and I had no other options, I would go for Palmer. I mean, maybe even for AFCON next time they can give us a couple of extra, make sure everyone's got 2. That would do. And look, FPL obviously got a bit screwed over by the fact that Salah's not been an option, so people don't need to get rid of him, etc. And look, they've probably got more data than us that tells us that they needed to give people these transfers because people drop off when AFCON hits. Like they must have some info which is making them do this. But to me, it just feels rubbish. But I did say I wouldn't moan about it too much, and I've just said it again. So is that too much now? I don't know. But also, we are very engaged. Like, you guys are sat here watching an FPL stream at 12 o'clock on a Saturday. Like, we're not necessarily the overall player base. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are absolutely loving the fact they've got red and yellow flags all over the place and 5 free transfers to deal with it. It's 2030 and FPL announce unlimited transfers every week because of the FA trophy or something. I mean, to be fair, AFCON does have an effect on FPL. Is Dewsbury Hall your favourite FPL player of all time now? No. You might be. I mean, he's not even my favourite this season. Bruno Fernandes exists, you know. 1 week punt. Minte to Eze or Anderson to Rice/Szoboszlai. Okay, so 1 week punt, Eze. But going to Szoboszlai could be quite handy because he's almost 1 week punt territory, although not as interesting as Eze. But then you might want to keep him longer term. That's what you've got to think about of all your moves. Like 1 week 1 week punts are absolutely viable with 5 free transfers. But there's still part of me, and it's just how I play, would want to be a little bit cautious. Like, there is no chance I would want Eze long term. There is a chance I would want Szoboszlai. So do you go for the absolute punt, or do you go for a slight punt that could also be good to you afterwards? That depends on your FPL management style. Palmer, Ekitike, or Haaland, Cherky on free hit. I mean, the more interesting one is Palmer Ekitike, but I mean, if it's a choice between the two, I'm taking the Haaland one. I'm taking the minutes from Haaland. 5 free transfers used, still 4 players different in our starting 11s, which is good. 15k rank, very nice. Definitely have at least a tiny chance of winning it all. Exactly, you do. Szoboszlai or Dango Utara on wildcard. Bookies have Szoboszlai better and ease that doubt. Maybe penalties and 1 less book transfer. I would definitely go Szoboszlai over Dango on wildcard. 100%. Like, you might get a yellow card from Szoboszlai and then he's no good to you next week. But honestly, if you buy Szoboszlai this week and he gets a yellow card this week, that's almost perfect. Well, the perfect scenario would be that he doesn't get a yellow card until game week 20, of course. But if he's going to get one over the next 3 weeks, you want it to be this week. You want him to miss Spurs away so that you get him for Wolves at home, Leeds at home. So definitely, like, I would say Utara over Szoboszlai on free hit, Szoboszlai over Utara on wildcard. Start Richards, Alderete, or transfer in Vandenberg. Okay, so that kind of question is going to depend on how many transfers you've got left. If you've got 5 or 4, you could definitely get Vandenberg in. But otherwise, I'd probably just play Alderete, I suppose. In Burmo to Bruno Fernandes and Voltemada to Raul Jimenez this week or next week, I've got 4 transfers. I'd be tempted just to do it this week. Best advice over Christmas is pick people who play. Yeah, that's what I've got in Capier. And Foden will definitely always play. Man City players never become a problem. To be fair, though, I have gone back to my very boring 5 centre-backs. That was another problem with Timber, you know. I couldn't have that fun of having a fullback in my team for too much longer. I had to go back to the centre-backs. God, it's going to be horrible when Capier gets benched before Gabriel's back. I swear if Saliba starts today, I sold him instead of Timber. I don't think Saliba will start. Like, look, I don't think Arteta will take anything for granted. Because, you know, they've just lost to Villa and, you know, Man City are getting closer and obviously winning the league would be massive. But, like, and again, no disrespect to Wolves fans, but it is Wolves. Like, Arsenal could just play exactly the same team that played in the Champions League and they would probably win this quite comfortably. Like, Man United in the end won that game very, very comfortably and Arsenal was so much better than Man United. Which pains me to say, but it's just the truth. So I just don't see why you risk Saliba. Like, Timber is obviously much closer to playing than Saliba, so you just play him. Like, I'm pretty confident it's going to be Ben White, Timber, Nketiah, Lewis Skelly this week. So if you sold Saliba over Timber, you made the right move. Rodgers and Raul Jimenez or Szoboszlai and Ekitike, 1 week punt. I'm going to say Szoboszlai and Ekitike. Used all 5 transfers: Munoz, Senesi, Enzo, and Jai Mateta to Nkapie, Anderson, Palmer, Thiago. Oh, wow. I personally would not have bought Palmer. I just feel like it's not. Like, I think Maresca said he can't start more than 1 game a week or something at the moment. So that's kind of no-go over Christmas for me. But he should start today. Start Anderson or O'Reilly. Probably Anderson. Nkapie for Saliba. Yeah, not bad. Why are you unsure about Ekitike, Isak coming back? Yeah, it's just competition for minutes, right? And also, like, for most people, it's maybe not for everyone, to be fair. But, like, for me, personally, for my team, it means a restructure. It's 2 transfers to get Ekitike, and then if he's no good, there's no other forwards I really like. It's just a minutes thing, that's all. For this week, he's probably okay. Play 3, Van Dijk, Chow, Anderson. If that's Fulham Anderson... Oh, hang on, Anderson. Okay, I'm just going to assume it's Forest Anderson. Van Dijk, Chow, Anderson, Minte, Calvert-Lewin. Minimum 1 defender. Van Dijk, easy over Chow, in my opinion. And then Anderson and Calvert-Lewin, probably. Would you get Rice or Nkapie as 3rd Arsenal pick? If Rice, would get him for Njai and maybe do Minte to Wilson. Play 3-5-2. But Nkapie would be for Rodon and would do Njai to Wilson and keep Minte. I'd probably keep Minte. He's pretty good after this week. Mount offers better value for money than Cunha. Yeah, sure, but we don't have to have a team full of just value players, right? I'm pretty confident over the next 6 weeks, which I will own Cunha for, he'll play more minutes than Mount. And in some of those games, he might be number 9 as well. I'm currently in top... Although, to be fair, even when he played number 9 against Wolves, Mbeumo was often higher than him. I'm currently in top 20k overall with a current hub team over the next 5 game weeks of between 94 and 98%. Any advice on when to play the free hit? Honestly, if you've got a sub to hub, go on the My Team tool and just go through the next few weeks, looking at your transfers, and just whichever week your team looks the worst, that's probably the one to free hit. Like, I wish I could say more than that. I don't have any specific reason to go 16, 17, 18, 19, other than which week does your team need it the most. Like, whichever week you use it in, you're going to be able to make, like, a pretty decent team. And there will always be, like, if you're low on Man City players, they've got West Ham at home next week, for example. I mean, to be honest, actually, I've just said any week. Yeah, no, actually, you could go like triple City, triple Brighton against Sunderland. You could go for Semenyo against Bournemouth, and then probably a couple of Bournemouth defenders. That's already like 8 or 9 of your players. Like, every week can work, depending on which week your team looks worst. I would probably say 18 is like the least interesting in terms of the teams you would target. But your team might look bad in 18 and it might be needed. Like, Liverpool got Wolves at home. You go triple Liverpool if you're low on Liverpool. Like, it depends. Bench O'Reilly or DHL? Is that Dewsbury Hall or DCL? Calvert-Lewin. I'd probably play O'Reilly over... No, if it's Calvert-Lewin, I'd play him over O'Reilly. If it's Dewsbury Hall, I'd play O'Reilly. Which 3 players will be on your wall of shame? Who has let you down? Ever had a red card on triple captain? Not a red card, I don't think, but I've had many early subs on triple captain. I mean, Chris Wood last season, if I'm thinking recent, was horrible, not owning him. I owned Chris Wood for 1 week and he blanked. Everyone else had him for about 50 goals or something that he scored. I mean, Mane and Sane and Shane Duffy. Was it Shane Duffy? Yeah, they were all really bad triple captains. Is selling Chow Minte knee jerk from last week? I mean, they're both okay to hold, I guess. Depends who you're moving them on for. Again, like, I think people have to realise we have 5 free transfers. Like, there's stuff you can be doing, right? Like, there's people out there that have got Minte. He is perfectly reasonable to keep. There's some people out there that have got really good Game Week 16 teams. They can play or bench Minte, and then he's good for next week, and it's okay to keep. For me, it felt like the only spot I was willing to lose to get Foden. So I sold him. Like both work, really. I think the narrative seems to be that Minte's no good anymore. I don't agree with that. And in another world, like, if we hadn't been given 5 transfers, he'd probably be in my team right now. Sheriff 50 months, the big 5-0 on wildcard and bench boost 17. 17 with very low team value. Is Klein worth getting or avoid Palace defense? You know what, right? I don't think Klein is necessarily a great long-term pick, but Glasner did say he's going to play against City. I suspect he'll get benched for the European game and then play against Leeds. So I don't hate it as a punt, but Diakite is definitely safer. Absolutely, 100% safer. Like the other defender they've got, I can't remember his exact name. I'm gonna have to look at it. It's Millie something. He's out for like months. Better combination this week: Eze Vandenberg or Semenyo Lewis Skelly. This week specifically, I'd take a punt on Eze Vandenberg, but Semenyo is better next two, I would say. And Lewis Skelly's obviously Lewis Skelly's really short term. Like, it's this week and then that's it. Rank for free hit. Dangu, Utara, Palmer, Cunha, Ekitike. Oh, God. This is tough because it's such a minutes call, right? Okay, because you've said ignore the money, I'm going to say Palmer first. Then Cunha, then Dango, then Ekitike, I think. But Palmer's a massive risk. Use 2 out of 5 transfers. Option is Laquata Vandenberg for third defender and team looks fine. Or do 2 free transfers to get a third striker by selling Timber. Why do you need to get a third striker and why do you need to sell Timber? I would say the other one's probably fine. Starting Timber and Imbermo. Richard's first sub. Imbermo to Cunha. No, I'd just keep Imbermo, I think. Simply FPL. 40 months benching Dewsbury Hall for his brace today. Unfortunately, I am, yes. But when Nkapie gets benched, he'll come on. Definitely playing Anderson over Dewsbury Hall. 100%. Yeah, Dewsbury Hall's definitely on the bench this week. Ekitike or Rogers on free hit. Ekitike, 4 transfers done, exact money for Enzo to Szoboszlai. I'd be tempted to do that, yeah, because you might be priced out next week. Danny, new member, thank you. Senesi keep, Tarkovsky to Nkapie, and Achimpong to Anderson, Fulham, and play with them and Van Dijk. Stack to someone higher and Imbermo to Saka, and downgrade Matetis to someone not playing. Yes, that sounds fine. They all sound like pretty good moves. I mean, by the way, if you can... Tarkovsky's better from game week 18 onwards than Senesi, like, much better. And Senesi's good for next... Like, once you get past the Burnley game next week, Senesi's not great. Tarkovsky's much better from game week 18, so just keep that in mind. Silver always. Anything new on Timber? No, unfortunately not. 22 months, though, thank you. Chelsea's next 3 league games are 7 days apart with only a cup game versus Cardiff in between. Palmer starts the next 3 at least. You could be right, yeah. Yeah, starts Everton, bench Cardiff, starts Newcastle, and then yeah, another week. Yeah, you could be right. Although, yeah, I guess probably. The thing is, like in theory, yes, that's correct. But what if this groin plays him up again? I look, by all means, you're right. I hadn't looked at that. So you are right. There is 7 days between the league games. He won't play that Carabao Cup game. No chance. So yeah, he could start the next 3. How many of those does he get past 60 minutes? I guess we'll have to wait and see. And there is a chance he just aggravates it in training and just misses a game. Like, he's just so much money. That's the problem. I got Timber into play this week before there was a chance for him not playing. Should I make another transfer to cover it? No, I really wouldn't worry too much. I would just play him. I'm pretty sure Timber starts. Like, there is some doubt there, but it's very small. He probably just starts centre-back. For what it's worth, I absolutely hope he doesn't. But unfortunately, that doesn't have any sway on what I actually think will happen. Szoboszlai versus Dango is because I need to book a transfer on Wildcard. Yeah, but stuff might just happen next week. I would just get Szoboszlai, honestly. Like, you might have something to do next week. Szoboszlai might be suspended. Sell Njai and Imbermo to who for future game weeks with good fixtures? Have Timber, Bruno, Foden, but no Saka. Yeah, Saka's good. Szoboszlai as well. Semenyo, probably the other one. Sade maybe, but not till next week. Starts Senesi or Keane? Senesi, I think. Yeah, I agree. Senesi will just play or be out of the squad, I think. I mean, there is obviously always a chance a player can be on the bench and come on, but I just don't see it with someone like that. Remind us why you haven't gone for the Utara punt. I just wanted to get Foden in place, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe I should have just taken the punt and just not gone for... Yeah, maybe I should have just done that. Honestly. It would have just been one transfer every week as well. Like Dango into Cherky into Szoboszlai. Maybe I just bottled it a bit. It is just easier just to get Foden, though, to be honest. Like, he is just a good pick as long as he keeps starting. I'll tell you what, though, when he gets that benching and everyone starts panicking about him, at least I won't worry about the value I've got in him because I don't have any value in him. Rice, Voltemada, Alderete to Saka, Guiu, Vandenberg. I mean, selling Rice seems weird, but it's kind of nice still. Why do you think Dewsbury Hall won't start against Chelsea? I don't think I've said that. He will definitely start against Chelsea. 15th cheap defender, Klein 3.8, or I would get a Stev just for the safety. You could go for Klein, then book yourself in a transfer to go to a Stev. Leave 0.1 in the bank. Why is no one talking about Vardy? O'Reilly's just a lot cheaper, right? Should I start Minte over Dewsbury or even if I have Van Dijk in defence? You could just play Dewsbury All if you don't. I would probably play Minte, to be honest, but if you don't want to have that scenario where your attack is playing your defence, Dewsbury Hall's fine. Waiting for your blessings on the moves cost me 0.3. You really don't need my blessing, honestly. You can just make moves. I don't know what I'm talking about anyway. Free hit, White, Lewis Skelly, Saka, or Nkapie, Eze, Saka. White, Nkapie, Saka, I think. I would go double defence either way. Play Dewsbury All over Minte or buy Rice for Minte and play. If you think Rice, if you want Rice long term, then yes, just get him this week. Otherwise, just play Minte. I think it's well, I guess he's a slight doubt this week, but I think he'll be fine. It seems weird to not get Rice this week to then buy him next week. Do you think Odegaard's a decent pick now? Not really. Play Dewsbury Hall or Van Heck or Richards. Dewsbury Hall probably. Lost my head after 10.5 million game week rank. All 5 transfers gone. Playing Timber and Dewsbury Hall this week with no playing defender on the bench. Rolling. What? That makes no sense. You used all 5 transfers. You're playing Timber and Dewsbury Hall with no playing defender on the bench, and you're rolling to 5 free transfers. I'm so confused. Is Thiago captain a good move? Not really. How much in your bank? Szoboszlai in. How much in your bank? Szoboszlai in for Minte out. I'm not sure what you mean. I don't own Minte anymore. I have 1 free transfer left and only 2 Arsenal. Nkapie, Saka. What third player would you buy that's not rare? I mean, highest ceiling this week, probably Eze, but long term, Rice or another Arsenal defender, probably. Like, just risk Timber. I'm rolling back up. Oh, okay. Oh, you're rolling back up to 5 free transfers next 5 weeks out of bitterness. Well, the good news is you've only got to do it for 4 weeks, right? No, wait. That is completely wrong. It would be 5 weeks, wouldn't it? Why have I feel like, why do I feel like it's 4? Well, you'd only have to roll for another 4 and then the 5th week you'd have them. Playing Burma and James. Or bench for Anderson, Forrest, and Van der Ven. I'd play in Burmo and Anderson. I'd play Anderson over James. Start Dubravka or Henderson. Probably Henderson, honestly. Get some saves at least. Might save a Haaland penalty. Play Minte or Bruno Guimaraes. Bruno. Opinions on Bowen. He's fine. I wouldn't like if you're on a 3-4-3 setup, then consider him. Otherwise, just don't. Stephen Gallagher, 92 months, only 8 away from the big 100. Would you play Dewsbury Hall or Calvert-Lewin? I'm currently starting Calvert-Lewin. I would go Calvert-Lewin, yeah. He's going to start, and he's got a better fixture. And he's on penalties. Do you know what would be amazing? Imagine if Dewsbury Hall's on penalties. Imagine if he gets penalties during AFCON. So good. I know Everton fans will just tell me they'll never get penalties. How good would it be? Dewsbury Hall on penalties. I suspect it will just be Barry or Beto, but someone's got to take him with no enjoy. Start 2, Anderson, O'Reilly or Rice. Rice and Anderson, I think. Bench boost with Timber, Senesi, Minte, Enzo, Calvert-Lewin, Esteve in the team, or should I wait? I mean, probably wait, I guess. But will you have a much better bench soon? Because I think all those players will probably start this week. 70 minutes for Saka, enough to captain. It's probably starting to look a little bit dodgy, but I would probably still do it, I think. That is the downside to captaining someone like Saka in a fixture like this. You know when you hit 60-odd minutes, you're just waiting for the sub. Madueke is going to start, not Saka. I mean, that's just not true, is it? It's definitely going to be Saka. By the way, Madueke might start. He might just start left wing. Or if he gets benched, he might come on and play left wing. Has the fact that Palace haven't won a game after Europe made you want to captain Haaland slightly? No, not really. I mean, I guess that comment. I'm slouching down so much. I need to sit up. I guess that comment's made me a little bit happier about getting Foden, I suppose. But no, it's just Wolves. Sorry. Sorry. Mince pies or Christmas cake? Mince pies by a mile. I'm not a fan of Christmas cake. I do like Christmas pudding, but not Christmas cake. I actually bought a mince pie this morning from a cafe in Salt Hill. So I've got that for later. I must admit, I'm such a boring guy. I bought it and I said to my wife, I was like, I bet this isn't actually that good. Sometimes you just want plain old boring store-bought mince pies, not these fancy things. Just give me a bog standard mince pie from a supermarket. But we'll see. It might taste good. We'll see. I can't buy like a pack of 6. I'm the only one that eats them, and I will just eat them all. So I had to just buy one for myself earlier. Triple captain bench boost left. Played 4 out of 5 free transfers early to save money. Had the ideal bench boost 16 before Rice Timber news. Would you 1 bench boost and sell Timber, 2 roll, 1 free transfer and triple captain Saka, 3 roll and play bench boost with the doubts? Again, like it's really hard to know without seeing your whole team and then working out what the next few weeks look like. Please don't send me your team for the next few weeks. I'll never be able to process it all. Honestly, if Timber's your only slight issue, I'd bench boost. I think. Like if you've got a really good bench right now, the chance of you having a really good bench in the next couple of weeks is probably not going to be the case. So I would bench boost and triple captain Haaland next week. If you think your bench looks just as good in 17 or 18, then triple captain Saka is fine. Thoughts on Saliba, Mbeumo, Welbeck and Mateta out for Thiago, Saka and Capiagu? Yeah, looks pretty good to me. 2 transfers, I guess that is. Wait, what? Oh, 2 questions, sorry. I'm old now. I can't decipher this stuff. Did 3 transfers and now left with either starting Senesi or Stack. I'd probably start Stack. Transfer Enzo to Szoboszlai. My midfield is Saka, Bruno, Foden, Enzo and Stack. Yeah, Enzo to Szoboszlai is quite nice, I think. Member for 3 months. Squirrel, thank you. Love the streams. Thanks for watching. Would you be tempted by Palmer captain if you had him? Not in the slightest. Anderson, O'Reilly or Vandenberg for Munoz. O'Reilly long... Anderson's quite nice value, but I like O'Reilly next couple. Palmer on free hit. If you want to take the risk, yeah. He could get subbed early, pre-60 minutes again. Bench Gay or Van der Ven. Probably Gay, Minte or Calvert-Lewin. This week, Calvert-Lewin, long-term Minte. Thoughts on Saliba as a hold? That depends whether your team can handle it. Like, he should be back for Everton. So I don't hate holding him as long as your team's fine this week. Foden captain over Haaland and or Bruno. I would captain Foden last out of those. Would you start Welbeck or Elliot Anderson? I'm going to say Elliot Anderson. Dewsbury Hall versus Esteve for first bench. You're wildcarding and you have to start one of Dewsbury Hall or Esteve. What has happened? I'd probably play Dewsbury Hall. The thing is, like on paper, it's an okay fixture for Esteve, and he's not bad for Defcons, but it's still Burnley defence. Have you tried salted caramel club biscuits? No, but I need to find them now. Pancakes or waffles? Pancakes, probably. Mince pie and hot custard is underrated. See, I would go for a warm mince pie and cold custard. I don't want my custard warmed up. Do I speak Gaelic? I can count to 5. That's about it. I bet you love Ready Sorted Chris. I think Ready Sorted Chris are a bit underrated. The thing is, everyone just calls them boring, so no one ever has them. So then when you do have them, you're like, actually, do you know what? They're all right. Salt Hill is in Galway, yes. Sorry, should get on to some. We should probably talk about FPL, I guess. It's so boring, though, isn't it? Like, no one really wants to talk about FPL. News on in Burma for 16. There's not going to be any more news now, don't think. Risk that if it gets to 0-0 at 60 minutes, Saka is taken off for Madueke. Same scenario for City. Haaland isn't being subbed. Yeah. I mean, Saka could blank. Saka could get subbed early. These are all definite things that could happen. 1 week punt instead for Minte. Eze have Saka, Szoboszlai, Dangu. I mean, 1 week punt, I would go Dangu or Eze. Probably Dangu. I mean, Dangu's probably got better minutes. Cold custard. Well, come on. I can't be the only one that has cold custard. People seem not outraged, but I love cold custard. In fact, maybe I'll mess my wife right now and tell her to get me some custard from the shop, and I'll have that with my mince pie later. Not starting Dewsbury Hall. Oh, first bench spot. Okay, phew. Wonder what the hell you were doing. Can you play chips in consecutive weeks, like bench boost this week and then triple captain? Yes, but you cannot play free hit twice in a row. So if you wanted to free hit in 19 and for some reason free hit in game week 20, you can't do that. But all other chips you can play in consecutive weeks. Start 2, Elliot Anderson, Minte and Szoboszlai. I would definitely bench Minte. Bruno over Saka as a differential captain makes sense. Yes, but I do think Saka's going to be somewhat of a differential anyway. Not as low as Bruno, but do you have cream or ice cream on Christmas pudding? Cold custard. Custard would be my preference on pudding. I'm not a massive cream fan. Ice cream, yeah, but I'd have custard on. I'd warm up my Christmas pudding, then I'd put some cold custard on it. Has anyone else brought Semenyo? I'd say so. I reckon you're not the only person that's bought him. Let me just see. You and 157,617 other people have also bought him. I just saw him versus Chelsea and I knew the hauls are coming and didn't want to miss, and he's dropping tonight. Yeah, it is annoying when you buy someone when they're about to drop. I guess it's probably better just to buy him before Burnley. But he might go up in price again next week, honestly, when people... Like, if he does anything against Man United, people will absolutely pile in before Burnley. Is there any thoughts on when there will be blanks doubles? I'm not sure yet. I don't have the brain space to start thinking about that. Like last season, they were around game week 25 when they first started. So I guess 25, 26, 27 around that time. Start 2, Elliot Anderson. Oh, did that one. What cold custard flavour? Just custard. Like, is there a different flavour of custard? Just custard flavour, right? Wildcard bench is a Stev, Dewsbury Hall, Keane. Not ideal for 16-17, but looks great moving forward. Or is there a risk of having a weak bench for this game? No, not really. I think you're fine. Like, there's not many games like midweek and stuff like that. There are some, but best pub in Galway to watch Premier League. I'm not really sure, to be honest. I don't go into Galway to watch football specifically, so I'm not sure. I mean, King's Head I've watched a few games in years and years ago. Oslo and Salt Hill is quite good. But I don't really go out and watch Premier League all that much. Pukon as well is probably quite good. I have watched a couple of games in there. I'm so surprised that cold custard's this like weird thing. I thought that's how everyone had it. Start Weaver or Stack? Stack, I think. Or transfer Stack out for a 6.4 million player. What options are best at that price? 6.4 is a bit tricky, I think. Off the top of my head, there's not really anyone I would buy this week. Anderson, maybe. Like Dewsbury Hall from 18. I mean, Harry Wilson, but he's very short term. I'd be tempted to hold Stack and move him to Dewsbury Hall in 18, I think. But yeah, Harry Wilson, I suppose, the next few weeks. Have a Guinness on me. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Can't have Guinness tonight, unfortunately. My son is working at 8 o'clock in the morning. Someone has to drop him in. You can tell that you finally brought Foden in when your main conversation is cold custard. Yeah, probably. But that's more fun than FPL, isn't it? More fun than FPL. Let's talk Ambrosia. Look, other custards are available, although you probably should just get Ambrosia. Or skin on custard. No, thank you. Custard is a flavour, isn't it? You get custard-flavoured sweets. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're like, what flavour custard? It's just custard, no? I can't believe how many times I've said the word custard. Okay. Hang on a sec. I need to get back to some FPL questions a second. Took a -4. -4. We just got 5 free transfers. You're taking -4s. Insanity. Timber, Senesi, Semenyo. And you're taking Semenyo out. Timber, who's good this week and next. Timber, Senesi, Semenyo, Gakpo, and Jai, João Pedro to Nkapie, Mukiele, Foden, Saka, Szoboszlai, Guiu. I mean, it's fine, but like taking a -4 we've just been given 5 transfers is madness. But yeah, most of the, I mean, Timber didn't really need to be taken out probably unless you needed the money. Semenyo probably didn't need to be taken out, but otherwise it's okay. Palmer on free hit. I don't think I would go there personally. Thoughts on Bruno Guimaraes? If you got him, probably keep him, but I wouldn't buy him. I don't know. He's fine, but the next 3 fixtures are not amazing. Thoughts on these moves for 17? 17. God, I can't even think about 16. I've got to think about 17. Pau Torres, Mateta, Enzo, and Eze to Foden, Bruno, Guiu, and Vandenberg. Yeah. I mean, good. You probably wouldn't buy Vandenberg next week. I think you'd probably buy Van Heck instead. But yes. Captain in Thiago, big differential. Any thoughts? His goal threat's just not good enough outside of penalties to captain, in my opinion. He can't keep getting penalties at this rate. Can he? Maybe he can. Mick McCarthy would say he can. Marks and Sparks, Madagascan, Vanilla Custard. Okay, maybe I'll try that. Bench boost this. Dubravka, Calvert-Lewin, Esteve, Joachim Anderson. Yes. Free hit 16, which 3? 1, Sanchez, Chalobah, Eze. 2, Raya, Anderson, Cunha. 3, Sanchez, Lewis, Skelly, and Burma, or Cunha. 4, Sanchez, Lewis, Skelly, Ekitike. I would probably go... Sanchez, Chalobah, Eze. Just go for the double Chelsea defence. Yeah. That's my final answer. It'd be funny if Eze doesn't start. Nah, he will start. I'm pretty confident in that. Captain Eze, no Saka, have Raya in Capie. Best pub is 7. 7's good, actually. I like that. I like their food in there as well. The food in 7, like, is... How do I say this without, like, it sounding like I'm giving a negative review? Like, the food is not... Oh, no, the food is just good, actually. It's just good. It's always quick. Always quick. So, yeah, I like 7. I haven't watched football in there, though. Captain Eze, no Saka. I'd prefer to go Haaland, but if you want to take a punt, go Eze, yeah. Should I sell him Burmo? I mean, if you don't sell him this week, you're definitely selling him next week. So it depends. Can you go in Burmo to Bruno, in which case it's probably a good move, but you don't have to do it. You can wait 1 more week. Zoidberg, 28 months. Thank you. Defences. If defences were custard, Arsenal would be Ambrosia. Wolves would be warm powder with skin on top. Exactly. Merry Christmas to you too. Free hit, bench, and headache. Raul Jimenez or Szoboszlai? Raul Jimenez, I think. With over 1 million transfers out in Burma as a differential. Is it 1 million out? Wow, it is. It can no longer hurt me. So if I get to Monday with a green arrow, then I've got Bruno and Cunha. And in Burma's ownership's a lot lower. Nice. Bench one. You got food poisoning from the chicken wings in 7. Well, I can't confirm or deny whether that actually happened. All I can tell you is I've had the chicken wings a few times. They've always been good. No food poisoning. Good pub. And they sell Wicklow Wolf Elevation Pale Ale on tap. Not many bars in Galway sell that. Best game. How old am I? That is an answer I prefer. That is a question I prefer not to answer. Best game. How old am I? I'm no longer in my 20s. Let me just say that. I know it doesn't look like it, but I'm not in my 20s. Best game week to free hit. Again, they can all work. You get your team into a planner and work out which week is worse for your team and use it in that one. For most people, it's going to be this week 17 or 19, I'd say. But I mean, that's 3 of the 4 weeks that are left. There is no perfect week. No, I don't think I missed that super chat. I think I answered that one. It was something about something or other. Yeah, we for all stack. Yeah, 6.4 million midfielders. Yorkeresh punts. He probably starts, yes. You sell Timber, what's your reasoning? I just wanted the money, basically. Damn, there's some horrible answers there. Horrible guesses on my age. Yeah, 6.4 million mids. I basically said there weren't that many Minte from next week or Harry Wilson this week. Glad I went early as I gained about 0.7 million, but today I lost 0.2 on Van Dijk and Calafiori. Yeah. You'll be getting a free meal from 7. I would take their I don't know what it's called, but they do like chicken tenders in barbecue sauce with chips, but it's not called tenders. It's like a boneless basket or something. I love that. Yeah, 7. If you want to give me a free meal, come on. And a Wicklow Wolf Elevation Pale Ale. Love it. The thing is, right, let's say this is the thing with me. If someone was watching from 7 and they messed me now, like, no, go on, we do a free meal. I just couldn't take it. I just could not take it off them. I haven't been in there for a little while though. Need to go back soon. On free hit, want one disruptor. Can't see neither a Liverpool or United clean sheet. Who to pick, Semenyo or Minte? Semenyo. Like, Bournemouth will probably do quite well against Man United, more so than Brighton against Liverpool, in my opinion. How to order the bench of Elliot Anderson, Esteve, Mateta? Probably Mateta, then Elliot Anderson, then Esteve. I did Timber out for the money. Yep. I live in Wicklow and do not like Wicklow Wolf. I do really like the Elevation Pale Ale. It's nice. I've said that about a million times now. At least we're off custard, I suppose. Thiago or Saka captain, too hungover to think. Saka. Do I sell Reece James for Nkapie? I think selling James overall is pretty good, so yeah. My current squad is worth 104.9 million. Is this good? It sounds pretty good. Bench boost, Guiu, Tarkovsky to Calvert-Lewin, Lewis Skelly. I wouldn't buy... Lewis Skelly's just not a great long-term pick, so I'd go to a different Arsenal defender. Calvert-Lewin's okay, though, yeah. Or you could go Raul Jimenez if you got the money. When's your next TV appearance? I don't think I'll ever be on TV. Transferring Anderson instead of playing Rodon. That's probably quite a good use of a transfer, especially if you haven't used too many. Do you think Mount is worth a punt? On free hit, maybe. I'm not sure about a long-term pick. There's a lot of hangovers in here. I'm hungover from my Christmas do, and I'm anxious. Should I sell Timber to Nkapie or Mbeumo to Wilson, or leave it? I'd probably leave it. Leave it. Go and put your feet up. Do you think Ben White starts? Yes. This week, anyway. Is Saka triple captain good? Yeah. Have Crystal Palace overperformed in general? I would say probably yes. Like, defensively. I haven't actually looked at the numbers, so I might be talking rubbish, but I suspect they've probably overperformed a little bit. But they're also just a pretty good defense, by the way. I can't remember how many clean sheets they've had, but like the XG they've conceded so far is, to be fair, they've only conceded 17 XG. They're like a top 5 defense. But they've only conceded 12 goals. So, yeah, they've probably overperformed a little bit. Loads of great craft beer in Galway. Great spot. Shame about the beer house. What happened to beer house? Transferring Anderson. Oh, I did that one. I'm getting sidetracked now. Weekends without a 12:30 game are painful. Yeah. I to be honest, this weekend's a bit rubbish. Like, I don't want to like, again, be disrespectful to certain teams, but like Burnley versus Fulham is the 5:30 game. Not sure I'll be watching that. And then tomorrow, Brentford and Leeds on at 4:30. I mean, I guess I got Thiago and Vandenberg now. I forgot about Thiago, actually. Yeah, maybe I'll watch that. The football next weekend is fantastic. So Newcastle Chelsea at 12:30, 3 o'clock game. The Man City game is on in Ireland at 3 o'clock. Oh wow! Then it's Spurs Liverpool at 5:30. Then it's Everton Arsenal at 8 o'clock, but also Palace and Leeds. Yeah, but then on Sunday you've only got one game, which is Villa Man United, and then Monday night football is Fulham Forest. Yeah, it's quite good though. Quite good over. Get the darts on. Maybe I'll go. Maybe I'll watch the darts this time. Foden captain differential worked last week. Try again. If you're going to captain him as a differential, I would do it next week rather than this week. What do you think of getting Eze? Because he'll still be really low captain next week because most people will go Haaland. What do you think of getting Eze, Foden, Cash, O'Reilly instead of Mbeumo, Munoz, Timber, Xhaka? I still have one free transfer as well. Any suggestions? I would just sell Mbeumo to someone different next week. Foden's fine. Cash, I just don't like. It's Chelsea and Arsenal away soon. You don't need to sell Timber. O'Reilly's fine. Play Dewsbury Hall or Dallo. I'm going to say Dallo. No, I don't know. Would I do that? He should start. I'm pretty confident he'll start. Left wing back. Dorgu's just not really getting a look in at the moment. No, I'd probably play Dewsbury Hall. Wouldn't it have been better if you got AFCON transfers only for the number of players in your team going to AFCON? I don't know if I like that, but I get the point. No, I don't like that. I don't think that's fair. I don't know exactly why, but I feel like my initial instinct is that's not fair. Yeah, because imagine if like they got injured. Imagine if I got an injured player and you got an injured player, but yours was an African Cup of Nations player, so you got a transfer to deal with it. That's just rubbish, right? So they can't do that, I don't think. Still unsure of punting Dango or Szoboszlai. If Isak starts and Salah maybe cameos, no pens. Yeah, sure, but I just think Szoboszlai's a good pick and stuff could happen. So again, my answer will be Szoboszlai and it will not change. It will not change by the stream ending. Mbeumo's first game at AFCON is 24th of December. Surely he plays Monday. Yeah, I think he will play, but all I'm saying is there is a slight doubt there because Amorim literally said in his press conference yesterday that he doesn't know if they're going to be available. But I'd be so surprised if Mbeumo and Ahmad don't play. And also, Man United are struggling a little bit with defenders in general, so they could do with Mazraoui on the bench at least. But I think they'll play. I think the reason why there's some speculation is because Monday is the date when the players have to be gone to AFCON. But I suppose technically, if you play at 8 o'clock and you finish at 10 and then you fly, you are still leaving on the day. You know what it's like with football teams in the like they could just charter a private jet or something. Like you know, Man United would cough up the money if it meant getting to play those players on Monday, and just get them straight there afterwards. So I'd be so. I've said this the whole way through. I'd be so surprised if any players going to AFCON don't play in Game Week 16. Buy Vandenberg, Chalobah, or O'Reilly. I think if you can afford it, O'Reilly probably. But yeah, keeping Chow's fine if you want to. Can't decide between O'Reilly versus Vandenberg. O'Reilly's much more interesting in the next 4 weeks, honestly. Vandenberg's if you need someone cheap to play this week, really. Will you sell Enzo for Wilson or Gordon? Probably Wilson. I just don't trust Gordon's minutes necessarily. I think the issue with the AFCON transfers is that there won't be many players with 5 AFCON players. Yeah, true that. Really think people are sleeping on Semenyo. I've been really unlucky not to get points. I think Semenyo is good, yeah. Definitely good next week. Like, in another world, or in another, like... I don't know why I keep saying in another world universe. Basically, if I hadn't done 3 transfers to get Foden, next week I would have been slightly tempted to do Saka to... Like, if I wanted to keep Minte for this week, or just keep Timber, whatever, I could have done, like, Saka to Foden and Minte to Semenyo next week. That did cross my mind. It'd be funny if Foden gets benched this week. I'll find it hilarious, yeah. Man United fan here. For sure, Bournemouth are going to look like prime Real Madrid, and we will all regret why we didn't choose Semenyo. Yeah. I mean, could Semenyo outscore Foden the next 2 weeks? Yeah. The problem with Semenyo is after the Burnley game, he's not great. I mean, he's not terrible for Brentford away, but he is going to be a sell afterwards. So for me, it was just easier to get It was just easier to get Foden. But I like Semenyo. Like, there's only so many. Like, I've basically, this is what it's going to feel like for me the next couple of weeks. For a couple of weeks now, I've had Cunha where most people have had Foden. Now I've got Foden where people. Sorry, I've still got Cunha and Foden now. And so instead of having Foden and Semenyo, I've got Foden and Cunha. So I've really got to hope Cunha starts getting some points soon. Because I feel like I'm always up against a really popular player. Because despite Semenyo having a lot of transfers out, he'll have a lot of transfers in next week. Why is no one thinking about Palmer? It's just money and minutes, really. West Australian. Well, I was actually talking about Australia to my wife this morning. I should go there one day. I think the thing with Australia is you'd have to go for 2 weeks. It's just so long to get there. Whereas most of the time, if you go away, it's like a week or so. At some point, I'm going to go to Australia in the next few years, hopefully. Absolutely loving the new weekend kickoff time. Early kickoffs 8:30 p.m, then 11 p.m, 1:30, 4 a.m. Oof. Like your time. Oh, 4 a.m. Ouch. People sleeping on Kudus. Not so sure about that. July to October is winter. Oh, that's a good point, actually. I'd have to go during their summer, which would be a pain with FPL. Although, I think we get 3... I think there's a 3-week international break next week. We have a lot of Irish people near the beaches in Sydney. You have to go... I want to go and visit the set of Neighbours. Neighbours is finishing again. Popped up on one of my reels the other day. Poor Susan and Carl. Sad times. A whole childhood of watching Neighbours. Must have players on free hit. Saka is probably the only must have. I would have Saka double Arsenal defence, Dangu, Utara, Haaland, probably Bruno Fernandes off the top of my head. I'm not that sure why everyone loves the 3-5-2. Dewsbury Hall offers so much value, so a third forward is certainly viable. Yeah, I mean, I'm playing 4-4-2, not 3-5-2, and next week I'm going to play 4-4-2 again. I have no interest in... I have no intentions to go 3-4-3 anytime soon, I don't think. That might change if Matessa's minutes go up. I went to Australia for a month and stayed for 2 years. I took a job in Ireland thinking it's an 11-month contract. If things go wrong, I'll just go back to the UK, and that was 14 years ago. People are sleeping on Kudus, but they're sleeping just fine. Yeah, they've had a great night's sleep. Do you prefer living in Ireland than the UK? I don't know if I can... I wouldn't say I prefer either, really. I've lived most of my adult life now in Ireland, like more of my adult life in Ireland than the UK. So I'd have to like go and do like 10 odd years back in the UK and then see. But I love Ireland. I love Galway. Timber, Minte to Nkapie and Szoboszlai. Or Vandenberg and Wirtz. I wouldn't go Wirtz. Best under 8.5 million midfielder. I've got Cunha, Enzo, Bruno, Foden, Minte. Yeah, Szoboszlai's pretty good then. Or Semenyo. I'd probably prefer Semenyo next two. But I would go in Nkapie and Szoboszlai, I think. Again, you don't have to sell Timber. Like, please, if you take anything away from this stream, I'm pretty confident Timber will start. How long until Mark Gay going to be a regular starter? For Palace, he'll just keep being a regular starter the whole season, I think. Is Ireland as expensive as England living-wise? Probably. I will say, though, when I first moved to Ireland, like, it was mad how much the drinks were compared to UK. Like, crazy. I think the UK's... Well, now, it depends where you go, obviously. If you go to Dublin, it's much more expensive, but then so is London. Now, when I go back to England, like if I go for a drink in like Western or something like that, it's more expensive there. Like it feels like Ireland went super expensive and it's slowly gone up, whereas like the UK was behind, now it's massively gone up. Like definitely caught up. Anyway, not that alcohol is the only thing you should compare prices of, but your Christmas is making it look like you're wearing dangly earrings. My Christmas, my AirPods, or what's your plans to replace the third Arsenal spot? Who and when? I've got 3 Arsenal. I've got Raya, Nkapie, and Saka. If the question is when am I going to sell one of my Arsenal players, I don't know. I've got no plans to do that. The plan is probably to do Nketiah to Gabriel when Gabriel's back. Thoughts on playing triple captain Saka game week 16 or save? It's Saka this week or Haaland next week. Take your pick. They're both good. Saka's more differential. Semenyo over Szoboszlai for these 2 game weeks. I think so, yeah, with the Burnley game. Bench one of Van Dijk, Semenyo, Vandenberg, or Wilson. I would bench Vandenberg out of those. Christmas jumper makes it look like you got earrings, does it? Like the snowflakes, maybe. Will I be worried if Burma doesn't play? Not really. Like maybe like 0.275% doubt. Do you think Lewis Skelly will start? Yes. I live in New York, absolutely insane. Yeah, I mean, I know everything just goes up, so it's kind of, in some ways, it's kind of relative. But like, you just think there's going to be some places soon that will sell a pint for like close to £10 or €10. Like, that's just ridiculous. Risky, but is it crazy to triple captain Bruno? I wouldn't say crazy. I probably wouldn't do it. If you're going to triple captain Bruno, you should probably do it in 19 against Wolves. Okay, I'm kind of seeing it now. I'm seeing the snowflakes with the AirPods. I got it. Is Temple Bar €10 already, though? I've only been to Temple Bar area once, I think. I don't know if I've actually been in Temple Bar. I feel like I probably have. €10 is mental. It's just mental money. Ahmed, 13 months. Thank you. Start O'Reilly or Gay? O'Reilly, definitely. So it's Semenyo or Wildcard, not Szoboszlai or Dango. I mean, it can still be Szoboszlai, right? There's a price difference with Semenyo, so that does stuff for you as well. But if I was taking my pick, money, no issue, I would take Semenyo over Szoboszlai next to. And also, you don't have the yellow card risk either. And like, if you have to play Semenyo in game week 18 against Brentford away, it's not terrible. €11 for... Oh, my God. Anyway, should we just go back to custard now? Kelleher or Verbruggen or Wildcard? I think I would go Kelleher now, but it's quite close. You drink too much Coke? Thanks, Doc. How do you know? I mean, I've been streaming for over an hour and a half. I've still got half a can left. Oh, Christ. Oh, that's so funny. Funny to me anyway. I was like, only got half a can left. So I put it down and I knocked the other 2 cans that are sat there. Now, I've not had both those cans today, but maybe I do have a bad Coca-Cola habit. Could you please help me order my bench? Xhaka, Richards, Dewsbury Hall. I would... Who have Sunderland got? Oh, Newcastle at home. I'd probably go... I think Xhaka should be at the front. Xhaka, Dewsbury Hall, then Richards. Yesterday's jumper or today's? I'm going yesterday. I quite like this one, but yesterday's, yeah, it's probably nicer. 50k a stream is probably just enough to buy a round in Temple Bar. I don't know, though. Even a little bit of Coke is just too much. Objectively, just bad for you. Yeah, who cares, though? Come on. I'm not... Like, just... Some people should just accept they're never going to be perfect. You know what I mean? It's not going to kill me. And if it does, so what? I've enjoyed it along the way. Timber, Enzo, Mateta to O'Reilly, Bruno, Thiago. Again, you probably don't need to sell Timber, but the other moves are quite nice. You should come to Portugal. I do want to go to Portugal soon. And Madeira, actually, as well. Yeah, Rovers are not doing well right now. One of my mates is a Rovers fan. Not happy. Start 3. Gay, Tarkovsky, Timber, Vandenberg, or Senesi. Timber, Vandenberg, easy. And then I'm going to say Gay. Saka won't start mostly. They'll rest him. Rest him for what, though? He's just been rested. I want to do a couple of the hikes in Madeira. They look really good. Custard, Coke, and medical advice all here on the channel. Yeah, it's like it's so funny when someone points at Coke Zero is not actually that good for you. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I know it's not water. I know I'm not eating. I know I'm not drinking liquid broccoli. I understand there could be something better, but come on. There's many worse things out there for you. Just relax. Are they losing right now? I don't have WhatsApp open, so I don't know. We'll see right now. Let's see if he's saying anything. Oh wow. The last message has been posted. It's so bad. Not even insert name of one of our friends would joke about it. Oh damn. I missed a super chat. If I did, I apologise. I'll have a look right now. I got Ekatike as third striker. Is it worth to spend the rest of the transfers to get Saka, or just go with Eze to cover the Arsenal midfielder? I don't think Eze covers Saka for what it's worth. He's a good pick for this week, but not long term, so I wouldn't buy him really. Start 3, Gay, Tuck. Oh, did that one. Which is the one that apparently I've missed? Oh, thoughts on Gordon. Look, if you look at Anthony Gordon recently, like, we just read his minutes out. 73, 24, 1. Now, he was injured. I get that. But even when he's, like, back fit against Burnley, it's 73 minutes. I think there's a chance he gets benched at some point. And I don't think he's good enough to warrant going for that. In Burma or Cunha or Gordon on free hit. I would basically get them in the order you've posted them. So in Burma, then Cunha, then Gordon. If you want to play it ultra safe, get Cunha over in Burma. But I'm pretty sure in Burma starts. Marino, do I think he starts? I think it'll be Gyökeres up front. Gyökeres. That's how everyone else says it. I'm going to say it like that from now on. Saka, Bruno, Foden, fourth midfielders should be. Take your pick. Szoboszlai, Semenyo, Cunha, Minte, Harry Wilson. Long term, I quite like Cunha, but I think the safer pick is probably Semenyo or Szoboszlai. Start Minte or Stack. Stack, I think. Bench boost Minte, Chow to Szoboszlai, Vandenberg. Oh, yeah, that's nice moves. Yeah. Play Timber, yes. Yeah. That's good for a bench boost. Really good. Yeah, Semenyo falling in price is annoying. So on wildcard, maybe you go Dangu Utara into Semenyo. Like, worst case, right? You got to use another transfer and you have to make 2. So what? Then you roll to 4 the week after, you know? It's not the end of the world. I'm from Madeira. Let me know if you need tips so I can pay back all the tips you gave me throughout the year. I will let you know, yeah. It was on the list of stuff to maybe do next year, but I don't think it's going to happen now. Next year looks like it's going to be busy. Oh, wow. Rovers losing 3-0 now. Oh, Jesus. Not good. Njai to Dewsbury Hall to afford Caicedo to Rice or Szoboszlai. I mean, Caicedo, man, he could... Maybe he's going to come back and score loads of goals after suspension, but I would probably sell him, yeah. I would go Szoboszlai. And I like that move to Dewsbury Hall. Like, Njai's got to go next week anyway. Start Timber or play Juve or Lacroix. Definitely start Timber. If you've got him, you have to start him. You think João Pedro starts? He played the full match midweek, right? The thing is, Delap's injured, and Guiu is... He just doesn't want to use him. So I suspect João Pedro will just start, yeah. How many weeks for Nkapia? I'm hoping I get 3 or 4 out of him minimum. Well, yeah, minimum. Bench 1, Rice, Voltamada, Bruno Guimaraes, Njai. Probably Njai out of those. Eze for a 1-week punt, then move to Wilson. I think if you don't buy Wilson this week, you're just not buying him, in my opinion. So Eze 1-week punt, then move to someone else next week. Semenyo. Will Timber play? Again, I think he will. Can't guarantee it, but I'm pretty confident he will. Is Lewis Skelly starting? I think he will this week. Do I transfer him for Bradley next week? Yes, because you love Conor Bradley. I wouldn't buy either of them right now, personally, but that's just me. Do you think Arteta subs out Saka today because it's Wolves? I think Saka starts, and I think he probably gets subbed early, yeah. How early? We'll see. I'm close to doing Munoz to O'Reilly. My defence looks good until 21. There will be a lot of stuff that can happen, 100%. Yeah, but that's fine. Having a good defence in place that you don't necessarily need to make moves unless stuff goes wrong, that is good, right? Like, my defence, in theory, can cope this week, next week, and maybe even 18 as well. I probably... If I remember right, Anderson's got West Ham... Anderson's got West Ham away in 18. So if I don't want to move for an Everton defender, I will just play Anderson. So in theory, my team can withstand the next couple of weeks without having to make a transfer. Like, that's a good place to be in, because if stuff does happen, you're in a much better position to react to it. Sell Van Dijk and Rodgers for Anderson and Saka and Captain Saka. Yeah, because you're getting rid of Rodgers as well. Probably, yeah. I would ideally don't sell Van Dijk, but it's okay if you're getting a good captain like that. On free hit, would you have Lewis Skelly, Nkapie and Saka, or Nkapie, Saka and Eze? I think I would go double defence. Oh, wow. Rovers down to 10 men. Oh, my God. And they're 3-0 down. Oh, Jesus. Who's better over the next two, Semenyo or Bruno? Bruno. It's always going to be Bruno. You know that. Callum, triple captain, free hit left. Changes to the below. Triple captain next week with Haaland. Just unsure when to free hit. Yeah, I really can't help with the free hit. Like, you're going to have to look through the next few weeks for your team and just work out when is worst. When is the worst time. Like, Sanchez is good this week. Steve Lacroix, right. O'Reilly. Who's on your bench? I mean, you've got no Arsenal defence and you've only got Saka. Like, would this week not be good to free hit? You could take Foden on maybe. Barnes is not a guaranteed starter. Like, you could definitely fix that defence on free hit. It's not terrible, but it's definitely better. So, like, maybe this week works. But honestly, I can't pretend that I know that is definitely the best week for your team. Get into a planner and look at the next few weeks and see if there's a better week. But instinct is this would not be a bad week to play it for you. And triple captain next week on Haaland is absolutely fine. Why is Rodgers a bad pick? He's not a bad pick, but I'd be happy selling him, I think. Start Wilson and Timber, Gay and Rao on the bench. I would play Raul Jimenez ahead of Wilson, I think. Play one of Gay, Rodon, or Esteve. First year playing FPL, do we get more transfers after week 19 or just more chips? More chips. You get all the same chips again, basically. Scenes when Timber starts and gets rested at halftime for tactical reasons. I mean, Timber probably just plays the whole game. Should I play Dewsbury Hall or Van der Ven over Timber? You should just play Timber. There's lots of questions about why is this player being sold? Why is that player being sold? Again, we've got 5 free transfers. People can make luxury moves they wouldn't usually make. I'm telling you right now, and I feel like I've said this every week since like game week 12, if we hadn't been given 5 free transfers, there's a few things, right? If we hadn't been given 5 free transfers, I wouldn't own Cunha. I would have rolled, and I would have just got left Semenyo for a bit and then sold him to Foden. I would definitely have not sold Timber if I didn't have 5 free transfers. Even with 5 free transfers, I'm not convinced it was a good move. I actually think it might be a bad move. But because I had 5 transfers, I could at least consider it. If I'd had 1 or 2, I would have just rolled and just gone without Foden. Like, you just have to take into account people have got transfers. They want to do stuff. That's why good players are being sold. Like, we're basically selling good players for other good players. Szoboszlai or Cunha for Minte? Szoboszlai's... Wow, do you know... I quite like Cunha. But he's more expensive. And he's not on penalties. But Szoboszlai could get yellow card and is suspended soon. I'm going to say Cunha. Should I bench boost next game week? Raul Jimenez, Wilson and Anderson bench. I mean, yeah, they're playing Forest at home. But are they really on your bench? Have you considered Saka captain this week? I have briefly considered it, yeah. I mean, that is... I mean, on screen, you can see where my armband is. Callum, 48 months. Must have Arsenal players. This, I mean... It depends whether you're... Like, this week, I would go Ben White, Saka, and probably Nkapie or Lewis Skelly. But Eze's also good. If it's for non-free hit and you're just thinking about buying them, I think Nkapie is the only defender you can buy this week. And then Saka is good. Long-term, I wouldn't really buy anyone else right now. Timber will probably still be a great long-term pick. And he probably does start this week, but I don't think you can buy him. But Dango into Semenyo or Szoboszlai into Semenyo from hating to burn free transfer considering too. I mean, if you're definitely going to buy Semenyo, I'd probably go Dango. Start Voltemada or Wilson. Probably Voltemada. But it's close enough, I suppose. Honestly, I've answered that triple captain question so much. I would probably use it this week, I think. But if I actually had to make the decision, would I definitely do that? I don't know. This week, next week, both good. Rice or Semenyo on the bench. Rice. Used 4 out of 5 transfers. Got Foden, Saliba, Raya, Raul Jimenez. Use 5 free transfers to do Van Dijk to Vandenberg. No, I would just keep Van Dijk. By the way, Saliba's probably not going to play. Rodon or Richards to Vandenberg or start Dewsbury Hall. Probably just start Dewsbury Hall, honestly. I'm using triple captain on Saka. Good luck. The Hazu fell 1 month. Raul Jimenez or Igor Thiago on wildcard. Igor Thiago, definitely. Nothing wrong with Raul Jimenez, but probably... I will say, though, Thiago's gone up a lot in price. So I'll say this. If you go Raul Jimenez and that gets you a big upgrade elsewhere, I'd maybe go Jimenez. But the better pick between the two is probably Thiago. Start Tarkowski or Senesi. I think I'd go Senesi, I think. Is Ben White injured? I don't think so. Should I get rid of Minte? And if so, for who? Got 0.7 in the bank and have Dewsbury Hall, Foden, Bruno and Saka. Szoboszlai is quite good. Like, it depends how many transfers you've got, right? Minte is absolutely fine to hold. And if you've already used a few transfers, I'd probably just hold him. But otherwise, Szoboszlai is not bad. But he is on 4 yellows. Like, Alex, you're just answering your own questions here. You already know what you need to do, right? Oh, but if you're going to consider going to Szoboszlai from Dango, just start with Szoboszlai. You literally say afterwards you don't like using free transfers for punts, so you know to go for Szoboszlai. You've always got the Szoboszlai to Semenyo option next week as well. You know what you want to do. Just do it. Paul, 1 month. Love the streams. Thank you very much. Hit the like button, everyone. Yeah, hit the like button. Why have you not done that yet? Come on. Hit the like button. Hit subscribe. Make your transfers in that order. Make sure you buy Bruno. Job done. Voltemada or Semenyo, who to start? Semenyo. Would you keep Van Dijk on free hit? No. Don't think so. He's not bad for free hit, but I'm pretty sure if I was free hitting, he wouldn't make the final draft. I think. Thanks for making me smile about FPL until the pain starts shortly. Great quote from Praz. After 5 years, the game starts playing you. Yeah, it probably does. FPL's never actually that fun, you know. It's fun when you get points. It's not so fun when you don't. Triple captain Saka now or harder next week. I don't know. Flip a coin. I'd probably go Saka for the differential again. So I honestly, I've just answered that question so many times. I know there's always repetitive questions. I think the thing that I always hate about answering the same question is you feel like you've got to like give a different answer or something a bit more interesting. I don't really have anything else to offer on the option. Like, I still think if I was guessing who scores the most points, it's probably Haaland next week. But Saka is such a differential if he gets the minutes. I'd probably go this week. I don't know what else I can add, honestly. Sore throat, probably from all the Coke Zero. Free hit, Odegaard or Rice or Eze? Eze. Should I captain Dango Utara over Saka? No. Probably not. I mean, if you want to, go for it, but I wouldn't. Will Mark G start this week for Chelsea? Guy, probably not. Oh, God, less than 15 minutes left and my throat's gone. Do you really think Nkapie is the best Arsenal defensive option? This week, no. And probably not for the next 4 weeks. No, it's probably Timber. But I hope it's Nkapie. And I hope the money to get to Foden works out longer term. The worry about using 3 transfers for a move like that is I'm not gaining anything. Like, I've just got a different Arsenal defender now. And obviously if something goes wrong in the next few weeks, then I could be down to no transfers. But whatever, it's done now. Captain Thiago for a differential. I would go for Haaland and Bruno over Thiago. Excuse me. Saka triple captain, yes. Just do it. Just do it. Sell one. Like, if you've got Saka and you've got Haaland, please always keep in mind you can always captain the one you don't triple captain. So if you triple captain Saka this week, you can still captain Haaland next week. The chance of you getting it majorly wrong probably will not happen. So if you want to triple captain Saka, just do it. I feel like this will be a professional 2-0 by Arsenal. Saka won't be involved as much as the other FPL managers think, so Saka won't get a big call. Yeah, then just quite simply don't captain Saka, right? Ahmed, I've answered that question so many times. You don't need to keep spamming it. Yes, triple captain Saka, go for it. For free hit, should I have Bruno or Thiago? Oh, probably Bruno out of the two. Choose one on free hit. Cunha and Burmo, Dango. Dango Utara, why not? 26 months, thank you. Why not captain and Thiago this week? Because Saka's better. Haaland's better. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope Thiago absolutely smashes it. But actually, no, I hope I'm not wrong, because I'd want Saka to score more points than Thiago. And Thiago is so highly owned now, his points almost don't matter. Would you start Minte or Elliot Anderson? Probably Elliot Anderson. What do you like to do with the 50 grand you make from every stream? Just buy custard, really, but never spend the money on the electric to heat it up. Can't wait to triple captain Haaland against a West Ham team without. Yeah, that's a good point. They won't have Wan-Bissaka or Juve. Kind of crazy, really. Yeah, triple captain Haaland probably is the play, but I do like the Saka differential this week. Foden is on form. I put the triple captain on him. Oh, I really don't like triple captain Foden this week. I didn't even necessarily want to buy him. I know people have done well with Foden captain recently over Haaland, but in any given week, Haaland's probably the better option between the two. It's a bit like when people used to ask about captaining Trent or even captaining Gabriel this season. Like, Foden captain, like next week will be good because it's West Ham at home. But Haaland will always be better, in my opinion. But if you want to go differential, sure. Just discovered a terrifying stat. Foden has not started the last 4 games against Crystal Palace, which was the whole of last year. Damn. Maybe that will happen again. Or maybe he'll just start. I don't know. I'm pretty confident Foden will start. Who do you think will be on penalties while Njai is at AFCON? I hope it's Dewsbury Hall, but I suspect it will just be Barry. What do you think about Doku? I don't like him as a long-term pick. If you want to take like a short-term punt on him next week for West Ham, fine. But he's more of an assister than a goal scorer. The minutes aren't like fully secure either. Is it worth spending more transfers to try to gain squad value? It's a bit more nuanced than that. It's not like a yes or no answer. Like, sometimes if you know you're definitely going to bring a player in that week, then it's worth moving early to get the squad value. And like for me, you could argue I've made a suboptimal move this week by spending 3 transfers to get Foden before he plays Palace away and selling Timber. Like, honestly, this could really hurt this week. It's not great. But if I wanted to make those same moves next week, I wouldn't have been able to afford it. So sometimes yes, but it's always going to depend. Like most answers in FPL are not black and white, like yes or no. Like in terms of evergreen long term, like it's not a simple yes or no. Although maybe I'm just overcomplicating it. Play 2: Elliot Anderson, Bruno Guimaraes, Chow, what Voldemar, Lacroix. Reply. Okay. Elliot Anderson and actually probably Voltemada. Definitely Voltemada, and then I don't know between Bruno and Elliot. Probably Bruno Guimaraes, just about. Mbeumo and Timber to Saka and Nkapie, or Enzo to Rice, or Enzo and Mbeumo to Rice and Cunha. 4 transfers. Currently Bruno captain. Willing to do Szoboszlai over Rice. Yeah, Szoboszlai over Rice is nice. I would go. I mean, if you're willing to captain Bruno, don't do the Timber out move. Just do. I don't know if I would go Enzo to Szoboszlai probably out of those and just do Mbeumo out next week. Start 1 out of 3. Xhaka, Van der Ven, Anderson. Tottenham. Oh, you're telling me the fixtures. Sorry. Newcastle at home. Forest away. Oh, only start one, Elliot Anderson. Why is squad value important? Because you can buy more expensive players who generally score more points, but not always. Like, it's not the be-all and end-all, by the way, but in certain situations, it's worth just trying to build it. Bring in Vandenberg or Anderson, Fulham, Anderson. Munoz to Nkapia or O'Reilly. I quite like Nkapia because you get the Wolves game this week, but O'Reilly's nice too. I could have gone O'Reilly and I bought Nkapia if that helps. Excuse me, if that helps. Start Bruno Guimaraes or Voltemada. 31 months. Voltemada. Is using all 5 transfers a good play? That really depends on your team. For some people, yes. Others, no. I would argue for my team, it would make 0 sense using all 5. Like, who else would I even really want to bring in? Like, it's a really great long-term pick. Timber, maybe. I could use 2 transfers. I could do Van Dijk to Timber. Is this your final team? I hope so. Your obsession with Why does everyone call it an obsession? Like, the obsession with calling it an obsession, that is what's odd. I don't have an obsession with Van Dijk. I just haven't sold him from my fantasy football team. Liverpool are leaking goals. He's not in form. There are other options out there. Sure. Then use a transfer to sell Van Dijk if you've got him in your team. Start Ekatike. Do you know what, actually? I'm actually grateful the obsession is with Van Dijk. Do you know how few people have said I've got an obsession with Fernandes this year since he started getting points? It's been lovely. Absolutely lovely. Lewis Skelly in Burma or White and Cunha? For free hit, White and... I'm going to say White and Cunha. Yeah, this has got to be a free hit question because if it's long term, neither. Would you have moved Mbeumo to Fernandes this week? Probably, yeah. Start Minty over Elliot Anderson because of how bad Liverpool have been. Probably not. I'd probably play Elliot Anderson. Let's say loyalty. The thing is, like, you've got to just take it as it comes, right? There hasn't, in my opinion anyway, there haven't been many weeks where selling Van Dijk made sense. Now, I did look at Van Dijk out this week. I did look at that, at least briefly, even though I was probably never going to do it. But then Timber got flagged, so it just made more sense to sell him, even though he'll probably start. Like, we're coming up to Christmas. Van Dijk's going to play every single game. There's no issues with rotation. And it's Wolves at home, Leeds at home in 18-19. And actually, the defensive numbers have been quite good recently. So I think Liverpool have been a little bit unlucky in the way the results have gone. Like, to put it into perspective, Palace have conceded 17.3 expected goals this season. And they've conceded only 12 goals. Liverpool have conceded 17.7 expected goals. So almost the same as Crystal Palace. And they've conceded 24. So the XG, pretty similar between Palace and Liverpool conceded, but Liverpool have conceded double the amount of goals. Now, is their goalkeeper just so bad? Like when Alisson wasn't there, etc. That's why? Probably not. It's probably just a bit of variance. So at some point soon, if the performances by the 2 defences stay the same, Palace are going to start conceding more and Liverpool are going to start conceding less. So Van Dijk's fine. Like, don't buy him. Of course, don't buy him. But it's not an obsession. I just haven't sold him yet. Just let me have him. I don't know if there's that many better options the next few weeks anyway, to be honest. I mean, O'Reilly could smash it. He could just score a goal. Yeah, Kanate is freaking annoying. He could stop making some mistakes. But even then, they've still not conceded that many chances compared to most other teams. Like, according to XG, which I know is a terrible stat that doesn't mean anything, Liverpool have been a top 5 defence this year. And I know, we've all seen it with our eyes. They've not been that good. But often the stats will just catch up. And Liverpool will start doing okay. So Van Dijk is fine. He's absolutely fine to not sell. That's the thing. I've got 2 transfers left. Is Van Dijk really worth using one of them? Is he that bad this week? Even if he concedes, I still don't think it's worth a transfer. Anyway, I hate that obsession. Everyone always says, why have you got an obsession? Where am I? We've only got 3 minutes left. Don't put any more super chats in. Enzo to Dango, 2-week punt. Dango won't play Game Week 17. He'll be at AFCON. 2 transfers now. Wildcard. Do I have 3 free transfers in 18? No, you have 2. Start Anderson, Spurs, or Dewsbury Hall, Chelsea away. Anderson. Bench 2. Rodon, Dewsbury Hall, Mateta, Gay. I'd play Mateta and Rodon probably. Timber, Szoboszlai, or Nkapie Eze on free hit. Nkapie Eze, I think. Start Enzo or O'Reilly. Enzo. Captain Bruno Guimaraes, no chance. Enzo over Szoboszlai. I mean, it could work this week, yeah. I think for the next 3 or 4 weeks, I probably just about prefer Szoboszlai, but he's on 4 yellows. Do we think Nkapie is much better than Ben White on free hit? He's probably safer. The thing with Ben White is there is a chance that he just gets subbed early because he's played a lot of minutes recently. But I think he's the more interesting pick on free hit. Shall I use all my transfers to move out Mark Guiu and Minte for Estevao and Igor Thiago? Probably not. Estevao's minutes are nowhere near good enough to go for, unfortunately. Any updates on Rice? No, we're not going to get any updates, I don't think, about Arsenal stuff. I can see if Declan Rice has replied to my message, but probably hasn't. But I haven't messaged Declan Rice, by the way. Yeah. No. Someone has messaged to say that Timber trained yesterday, but that's the first message I've had from them. I don't know. I'm not really sure if they've got any info or not. Like I said, someone earlier said that Timber's out, and I don't know. I think he's probably fine. Anyway, that's not Declan Rice. No news on Declan Rice. Eze over Szoboszlai wildcard. I mean, if you haven't got triple Arsenal, sure, for a 1-week punt. Do any footballers get in touch with you? There have been a few, but not not Premier League. I don't think any Premier League players have. But there's a few that follow me. Start Anderson, O'Reilly, or Minte. Anderson, I think. Timbers. Oh, yeah, did that one. Okay, we've got a minute left. I need to double check that my team is fully locked in here. Don't put any more super chats in because I'll miss them. All right, pick team. Dewsbury Hall ahead of Senesi, I think is just about correct. Captain Saka, vice captain Hart. Maybe I should put the vice captain on Bruno. I'm going to leave it on Haaland. Yeah, if you're asking questions now, good luck. Foden at 1 million transfer. He's not at 1 million. He's at like 1.5 million. It's probably even more now. Let me have a look. It was 1.5 earlier. 1.6. Oof. You're in the league with Sammy Schmodix. Nice. You're captaining in Burmo. Good luck. Good luck. Is Minte that bad this week? Not really. Saka captain is silly. Thank you very much. I've got 5 seconds to change it. No, I'm not going to change it. I am a Premier League footballer who follows you. Thank you. Thank you, unsubscribe FPL. There we go. Deadline. Game week 16 is locked in. I have sold Timber because I'm an absolute idiot. Yes, he's going to start later. Yes, he'll probably score a goal from a corner. Just be nice if he does, by the way. I know it wasn't a great transfer, all right? I get it. But don't give me a hard time if Timber scores. Please, come on. Just let me enjoy my weekend. There's only one more weekend before Christmas after this. Have I met Bruno Fernandes? No, but I would love to meet him. I'd love to get him on the channel. That'd be amazing. Like, there's a few players that'd be really cool to get on the channel. Bruno Fernandes would definitely be one of them. Even just like a quick 5-10 minute chat. See if he knows how many people don't own him in FPL. Although they all own him now, don't they? After the 18-pointer. All of a sudden, Bruno Fernandes looks a little bit better. Single or clotted cream on your mince pie? Custard. Trifle or Christmas pudding? I do like the classic Christmas pudding at Christmas, but I mean, if you were saying that I've got to eat a dessert a bit more regularly, do I want Christmas pudding or trifle? Definitely trifle. It's got custard in, right? If you got Bruno on, your subs would be 1 million plus. They definitely wouldn't, but it would be cool to have him on. Monday is such a long wait to see Bruno. Yeah, but it's kind of nice as well. Do you own a onesie? I own 2, actually. They're both Christmas ones. Have you been to Donegal? I want to say yes. I'm pretty sure I have been there. But like, why am I so? I'm always, sometimes like worried about answering questions in case I'm wrong. Or is it somewhere else that I've been? I'm pretty sure I've been there. What's the? Oh, is there like a little town called Donegal in Donegal? Am I wrong? I'm pretty sure I've been there. Yeah, I think I haven't been to Letterkenny. I've been somewhere else. I think there's a town. I've stayed in Donegal town, I think. There's a hotel there on like, oh, I can't remember what it's called now. And I think I went to Derry for a day while I was there. I've not been to Macedonia, no. Nkapie going to get an assist and score. That'd be amazing, honestly. Imagine if he scores. He's so good. He did hit the post, I think, midweek. What's the name of the... There's a hotel. I don't know. It was nice. Anyway, have I bench boosted? I've used all my chips. Yeah, I bench boosted back in Game Week 5. Am I waiting for the lineups? Probably not. I don't think there's too much interesting stuff for the lineups, right? Is Salah in the team or not? That's about it. Win FPL or get Bruno on as your guest. Look, if Bruno's watching, I don't want to come across and sound harsh, but I'd rather win FPL because obviously that would be massive for the channel, but it's never going to happen. I've not watched IT or It. I don't know if it's probably It. Is it Welcome to Derry, or is it IT Welcome to Derry? I don't know what it is. I've not watched that. I have watched Derry Girls though. I don't want to answer all these questions about have I been to places, like countries, because I've just not travelled that much. Rumours Saka is bench. Yeah, I'm sure there is. Sure there is. Bench for 2 games in a row. Does seem likely. It's It. Abbey or Central Hotel? I can't remember where I was now. Waiting on the bus. Lucky 15. Palace 0-0. Burnley 2-0. Brighton, Liverpool 2-0. Arsenal 5-0. I'm not sure what a lucky 15 is. Some kind of bet, I get. Yes. I've watched 244 of your videos this year. I've heard your voice more than my mum. You should go and see your mum more. Talk to your mum more. But 244 videos, thank you very much. Have I been to Mullingar? Maybe. Except Cunha, you have the same team as Ben. Who's he got instead of Cunha? KSI Captain Rice. Why Coke Zero and not Diet Coke? Less caffeine. I just like it better. Doodaloo-doo. If one day you find yourself on course to win FPL in the last game week of the season, would you do videos that week talking about your potential transfers? Yes. Like, I'm never going to be in this position, so it doesn't really matter. But let's say it was really close and I was in the top 5 going into the final week. I would talk about my potential... I don't know if it's exactly what I would do, right? Because it's always easy to say what you would do unless you're in the situation. But I would like to think I would talk about my moves and I would never lie. So if I said I was considering a certain player, I wouldn't lie about it, but I probably would hide my transfers. I'd have to, right? And I think most sane people would accept that as well. There would obviously be people that wouldn't be happy about it, but I would definitely hide my transfer on the deadline stream. I would not give it away. But I'm never going to be in that position, honestly, so it's just not worth worrying about. All jokes aside, you can't bench someone who scored 2 goals last game. Madueke. I mean, yeah, but you can play him left wing, right? Oh, Ben's got Saboslo. Nice. I mean, to be honest, I suspect most teams will start looking similar to this now. Just because, obviously, players go into AFCON, 5 free transfers. Like, you know, Bruno's just scored 18 points, so people want him. I've bought Foden. He's just got 6 returns in 3 game weeks. Hard and Thiago just seems so obvious at the moment. Do you like pigs in blankets? Yes, like the best part of Christmas dinner. Right, I'm going to shoot off. Thank you very much for joining me. If you did enjoy that stream, make sure to give it a like and hit that subscribe button. And I will see you tomorrow, where unfortunately I'll have to pick through my transfers and how bad they were. I'll be on straight after the thrilling No, do you know what? Brentford versus Leeds could actually be a pretty good game. So yeah, fingers crossed I'm on a green arrow when I stream tomorrow ahead of Cunha and Fernandez on Monday. Although I guess some people will own Semenyo as well. We'll see. We'll see. Enjoy your weekend. Only 2 more to go before Christmas. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.